say something to make you not like me. You might catch feelings and you might want to fight me, but I don't really care, I'ma say it anyway. Why most comedic guys seem soft and gay? I'm not saying all, but a large amount. Have you ever heard the words that come out of their mouth? Yeah, they cuss like a sailor, but they follow my eye. They carry oaks and wear makeup and thinking it's hot. I think they need to stop, this is a new era. I wonder if the pharaohs of a war mascara. It probably was a death mask misunderstood. Don't let them D-boys catch them up in the hood. Why NOI? Stop patrolling the block. We get shot by the cops and we calling the cops. Come on, y'all was on another level. The black man.
We ain't gonna hold you up now. Hey, like this whack YouTuber that think he's great, that live in the OC. We ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. How y'all doing, family? I want to talk to y'all anyway. Can we have a talk today? Can the king of the YouTube have a talk with you today? Hey, family, we gonna get a bag. Oh, no, let's not. We gonna get a bag. Can the king of YouTube have a talk with you today? Sorry, I'm late. I had some traffic leaving the. Hey, let me talk to you, family. Listen. Never ever did I think that little old me would be such an important topic. Have y'all noticed that around the internet that everybody's either stealing or making something about me? Y'all remember the sister came on here supposed to be Poop TV or something. I think it was Poop, like the dog or the rapper, but I think it was Poop. Y'all remember that? The clout chaser came on the demonstration, right? And then went back, put it on her graveyard of a channel, and then tried to critique. It was a disgrace. Let me break it down to you real quick while we waiting to get the guests right. The sister came on at the end of the show, hit the link, and she was talking all over the place. And you know how it is. I'm patient. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you do what you do. You know what I mean? But then somebody sent me the link to her channel. This fool, and I say fool, she was on the channel, Morris World TV, in agreement or humble or even passive, trying not to be aggressive. But she uploaded on her video and she's critiquing it as if she got her chest poked out. I'm like, Poop TV, why don't you get with me? Let me be your friend and help you build your graveyard of a channel. You are not going to build your channel off of me. There is no channel on the internet that can build off of Tahaka Bay. It just don't work like that. I don't know why. Many people have tried it. None has been successful. Now listen, there's other channels out there that, you know, like Hokey. Many people built their channels off of Hokey, and people would accuse me of the same thing, but no, I never was a fixture on there. You know what I'm saying? And you got other channels that people will go on, like Kwame Brown, and try to build their channel off of stuff like that. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But I have yet to see somebody build a channel off of Tahaka Bay. I just haven't seen it. I don't know. There is not one channel out there that have been using my information or using my clips or even trying to browbeat me and trying to criticize me and started doing that and built the channel. It just haven't happened. I'm trying to tell you, the thing is, people be, in the beginning, what happens is people be looking to see if they are going to hit me with the 1-2 and knock it out. But once after a few shows, they be like, it'd be funny. As they say, it'd be cute. But then they know that the audience begin to fizzle. Nope, that's not the one. We gotta wait another round. And so I say all this to say, we here now. That's right. Listen, somebody say professor. Hey, the truth. If you got people can say that they went to school and they became doctors and they got doctors, if they say that they build a channel and they become doctors, if they say that they did all of these things and got degrees, hey, they ain't got to show their degree. I ain't got to show mine. I'm a professor today. Professor to Hawker Bay. Y'all ain't making it. Y'all don't want to see their degrees, so don't ask to see mine. Now, and when you ask to see my degree, I'm going to write it out and with the big fat kindergarten pencil. And you better believe me because you believe everything else. Look at your neighbor and say, I believe everything else. That's right. That's how we gonna do it. That's right. That's how, if y'all ain't asking these weirdos to show their credentials, don't ask me. I'm a professor. That's right. Don't ask me. And if I decide to show you and write it out with the fat crayons, don't get mad at me. Because y'all hold the standard that nobody, listen, I wouldn't even have a problem if one would call themselves a doctor and say, I'm a doctor because I fit this qualification, because I fit this mode, because I fit what a doctor does. But the problem is that these people that claim to be doctors, they claim that they went to these schools and got degrees to be doctors. You went to one of them little shopping, little strip malls right there. You sit there for 10 hours and they gave you a certificate. So there you go. Yeah, that's what you did. That's right. Mark Anthony, he's a scientist. The scientific method. Mark Anthony used the scientific method. Science literacy. Look, Dr. Queen, she became a doctor last week. Dr. Honeyweed. That's right. That's what we do. That's right. That's right. My brother, Mark Anthony, next time you come up in here, you make sure you wear your credentials. Dr. Mark Anthony. That's right. That's right. That's right. You got yours. I'm giving. You can use a doctor. Use a doctor. Use a doctor. Use a doctor. Everybody doctors at Orchestrated TV. But there's an astronaut. That's all right. You a doctor too. I'm sorry. They're going to be mad at you. Dr. Shasha. Oh my, he's a conspiracy analyst. You a doctor, you a doctor, you a doctor, you all are doctors. That's right. There we go. There. How about that? That's right. All these people. And y'all ain't asking for their credentials. So Harif Muhammad, he's a sports doctor. That's right. I don't even know what I'm a professor of yet. I don't know. I'm going to think of it between now and the Friday. I'm going to know exactly what I'm a professor of. I don't even know yet. So, family, we got a good one for you tonight, family. I'm a pharaoh. I'll marry you if you're a princess. Are you any princesses? Let me stop. That stuff is goofy to me, man. I try to tell you. Y'all remember that Coming to America? The little lady, they like, Mariam, yes, say yes. They was on the train, say yes, say yes, say yes. And the old lady said, I'll marry you if you're a prince. You can be anything you want to be on the internet. Rena said, which time Uma will be here? Uma's in the building, family. Uma York is in the building. Yeah, she in the building. I just... Look, everybody impatient. I said, I'm new, but I love your energy and truth. Hines, you a doctor too. I'm giving out doctor degrees to everybody. You're a doctor. You're a doctor. You're a doctor. Who else want to be a doctor tonight? Is anybody want to? Is there any doctors in the house tonight? Who want to be a doctor? You want to be a doctor? Anybody children up? We don't cuss on this network, so bring your children in too. They can be doctors at 6.5 years old. Bring them all. Let me stop, man. They're going to say I'm goofy. So, fam, we got to start this show off. We got to start it off, family. Y'all ready? We got to start this off. You feel me? Let's get it started, family. We got Uma York in the building. We got a surprise guest in the building with Uma York. You know what I mean? Because we about to get busy, family. It's about to go down. Let me give it to you. Man, shout out to my peoples, man. I want to get a big shout out to my peoples. Won't y'all go check them out on Instagram, Smash Bang TV, doing the wonderful work with the great intros, family. Cut me an intro. I added some stuff to it, man. Oh man, let's get busy. Smash Bang TV. Big up the Smash Bang, because we're going to smash and bang them on TV. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number.
Guess.
We in the building.
Hello.
We got Sister Uma York in the building.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, sis, I'm doing well.
Peace to everybody.
I just had to give the people the beautiful intro, but sis, I'm talking about the song. I'm not talking about my silliness.
I mean, even all of that is still funny. It's
Hey, but you know, these people, they come on the internet one day, they name it something, the next day they're a doctor. Yeah. Everybody doctors. But you know what? And I'd like to underscore the fact that I don't need a European to qualify that I am this, that, or the other. But these weirdos that scream so much independence, quote unquote, black power and all of this empowerment, the first thing they do is say, I went to school and I got my degree. And then you say, show the degree then. I mean, I respect it either way, but show the degree. And then they show a degree and a certificate from a strip mall with a 10-hour course on something that you probably was sleep high, weeded the whole time anyway. Man, these people crazy. So I'm a professor this week. I don't know of what. It's Uncle Bay. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be teaching in the school hall. With that being said, somebody say, since she's married, she can't be fine. My audience just tell the truth. They just tell the truth. But with that being said, sis, so recently on HOK TV.
What's that?
HOK. Okay.
What is it?
Saneter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got play with the word. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
But on Saneter, on Blacknews 102. Let me stop playing. On Blacknews 102, your sister goes on the record. And now, I don't know if you're aware of it, but on the show, when you were on here with your brother, Jacob, do you remember me saying that Nobody is coming on the show. There's nobody else coming on the show.
Yeah.
The reason I was saying that is because behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure that it was King Simon, which I don't mind because I did. I don't know. He asked me, could he give my number to somebody, and maybe it was her. And I said, sure, go ahead. But I'm almost sure that King Simon gave her the number, which I don't mind. But anyway, while the show was going on, she was having a fit saying, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. And so while the show is going on, I'm texting, and I'm saying, no, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Let's set it up for tomorrow. And the more that you talk, the more enraged that she seemed to get. And she was just talking. Anyway, she ultimately texted and said, I will take my story somewhere else. I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, whatever, go ahead, take it to Saneter. He'll take it. And what do you know? She was the Saneter, and for real, I thought it was going to be something significant that I could look at and I could say, hold up, Uma York, hold up now. What's going on? Sis said this. But I got to be honest with you and the audience here. There was nothing really said that was definitive or that defended her anger towards you. I mean, everything was speculative. You know what I'm saying? No receipts. No, her and Jacob was over talking or crossing each other up and talking. What's the real beef with you and your sister, if you will?
Well, you know, the real problem is, I think, is
Playing TV. My bad. Shout out, I say street smash. Why I say street smash?
I think that, you know, she's
my bad.
been fighting for attention pretty much her whole life. That's probably really what it is. I've always been, you know, just the little sister. You know, when she was running around in the projects, my mom would always be like, "Go get your sister." So, you know, she always.
Let me clear it up. You both have the same mother.
Yes, we have the same mother.
Okay, got you.
I mean, she's hated me since I was a kid. She would do stuff like stick her finger in my food and stuff like that, like just all kinds of weird stuff, you know. So I don't know what it is with her. I don't know. She needs to get over it. It's weird because we're adults now. You would think, you know, people will grow up.
How old? Let me see if I can pull up something on her. How old? What's the age difference?
We're only 3-year difference.
Okay, 3-year difference. 3 year. And that's Leah. Let me see who else I got right here. It's a 3-year difference. So y'all didn't experience a lot of the same things then.
You said we didn't?
I said y'all should have experienced a lot of the same things.
Well, kind of, except I was a little different. She always wanted to run the streets, and you know, I was always with my little brother, so you know, I was always the one that was sent to go get her, you know. So she always hated me because of that. I will always find her in the streets doing something she had no business doing. Yeah, so she'd always hate me because of that.
So when you say the streets, so I would assume that you're talking about in New York before the land, before y'all moved on the land?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, before we moved on the land.
Okay.
Yeah, she was always, you know, in Atlantic Terminal projects, you know, hanging out. We lived up the block over there on Vanderbilt Street. We live not too far from there. So she was always, you know, running the streets, doing her thing, you know. And I was always the one that was sent to go get her, you know.
Was it? I want to bring it up to speed because I'm not sure. I don't want to mess this up, but I'll ask you. Wasn't it said that she gave a statement with Jacob to initiate their father to get locked up?
Yeah, initially. Yeah,
Okay.
she was definitely one of the people that were against him. She's one of those people that flip-flop back and forth for her convenience. If there's some money involved, she's on that team, and that's just how she is. She has no to nothing.
I'm sorry. And I want the audience to know this is not about, we're going to have a show. Obviously, we're going to have a show about Malachi York. Dr. York. Obviously, it's the bottom line. It's going to come to that. You know what I'm saying? Because all sides ultimately going to want to be heard. I just wanted to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be vulgar. I don't want it to be malicious. But with that being said, and she is supposed to be. Did she ever withdraw her story?
You know, she always I think she has back and forth.
I thought so, yeah.
Run back and forth, you know, but I'm sure if you hear her boyfriends tell it or her different, you know, dudes that she's been with, I'm sure they'll tell you the back and forth that she has. Now I definitely wanted to address something in regards to people speaking about me defending my father. It's not that I'm defending him. I just don't want to relive a horrible memory. Now, people have to they have to respect the fact that he's doing 135 years to life. You know, can't get any worse than that. And I'm not looking to, you know, to make myself any more worse than the situation. I understand the repercussion of what it is and what you know, quote unquote, he's done or whatever. You know, he's serving time for it. So that's why I look at it as a dead issue that I don't normally want to address back and forth with people. You know what I mean? So that's one thing.
So in my circle, I've expressed the same thing that you just said. I said, and I don't want to speak for you. I said, I have never heard Uma to say yay or nay. She just haven't spoke on it. And maybe one day she will. I don't know why, because when somebody don't speak on something, they automatically think that you are defending something.
Yeah.
That blows me away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That blows me away, the psychology of our people. Because you don't condemn something, all of a sudden you support it. But no, sometimes, and I'm talking to the audience now, sometimes people need to take time to work through something and make the decision on how they want to speak about it. Just imagine, I'll say this to you. Just imagine to the people. Just imagine if you have an of life experience, and your life experience don't reflect that which was said and that which is rumored or even fact for that matter. Some people rather hold that life experience more dear than those things that they have heard and that they maybe other people have experienced until they got a better time or in a better space. And if they want to make it public, they make it public. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's definitely one. And I think a lot of people don't understand the fact that they're looking at him like some public figure or something when he's actually my father. You know, so he gave me life. So it's a different perspective for me. And I don't want to address something when he's already being prosecuted for it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like that's why I said I want to move on and get to the point of, you know, these other people, you know.
Yeah, and so let's get through this. I think Leah's in the chat. She says somebody, no, if it's not Leah, say your sister is going public. All I did was set the record straight on why she was in foster care.
Oh, we could speak about that as well if we want. I think I've already mentioned to people how I got in foster care. I got in foster care because my mom, she gave me custody. She gave custody to my dad during the time that she was moving out of the house that she was in. So my sister, who shipped me off in the middle of the night, had her and sister Sakina, whom you know, told you about, Patricia Lewis, who used to do all the transporting of children back and forth between Brooklyn and out of state and stuff. She transported me back to my mother's old house, in which no one lived there, and that's how I ended up in foster care. My sister, as you see, I'm sure if y'all, anyone who's probably noticed, these people don't know me. They haven't taken the time out to get to know me at all. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them never even wanted to hear my story at all. They didn't care.
Let me say this, Sister Uma. We're gonna run through this real fast because we're not gonna get stuck here because we got a lot to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that she mentioned, and she's in the chat now, that you called the police and the police gave you a choice that you could stay there. That her story is that you called the police, that there was no food, and she kind of implied that maybe there wasn't the food, because she said, your mother was like a health nut, and with all due respect, people say health nut. That's the language that she used. That's the language that she used.
Yeah,
and that
that's two different situations. This is actually two separate situations.
Okay. So
and
let's clear that up real quick.
Yeah, that's two separate situations. And may I add that I wasn't the one that called the cops. It was my deceased sister that called the cops. Okay. My older sister.
I don't mean no harm, but to Leah, because I don't know Leah at all. But I will say that you sound, if I had to take a jump shot at it, you just sound a little more sane. Both of y'all could be crazy. You would be the lesser of crazy. You don't sound like, no, you don't sound. I listened to Leah, right? And she just seemed angry, frustrated, and twitching her face up. And I mean, it just was funny to me to just listen to her. It just doesn't seem genuine. And you just come off as genuine. But let's do this real quick.
And the reason I'm not camming up is because it's late at night and I'm not going to sit here and put on makeup.
No, that's fine. You don't have to do all that.
It's ridiculous.
No, I'm just talking about even if she didn't have a camera, the way that she was expressing herself. Let me see what this one said.
I'm just saying it's just ridiculous.
Let me see, sir.
But I just think it's interesting that she's so upset, because the reality of it is she's actually a product of what I was speaking about in regards to people harboring child molesters. She spoke about her oldest daughter in such a high manner. There's nothing wrong with that at all. As a mother, you should speak highly of your daughter, even though you didn't raise her. But she was about 15, 16 years old when she was sleeping with about 30, 40-year-old man. And this happened on the land. And her
hold up. Good
her daughter is the product of that.
Hold up, Uma. I missed all that because I was looking for a clip. Let's run it back.
And then explain the two.
So you're telling me, are you talking about Leah?
Yeah. Yes, I'm talking about
Leah. So Leah was basically molested.
No, I don't think she was molested. She's just famous for breaking up family.
She says I married him at 16.
Oh, you married? Oh, yeah. But you also had Nancy.
I don't want to get into the argument, but here we go. This is what I mean about the culture.
Exactly.
This is what I mean. Like when you hear
talking about.
When you hear someone admittedly said, I married someone at 16 and the person is 40, no matter how you slice that pie, the scales are imbalanced.
Facts.
The scales are imbalanced. But hey, who am I? But go ahead, finish this.
But that's, right there, that's a sign of what I'm talking about, these people harboring child molesters. You get what I'm saying? And her daughter is pretty much the product of it. The only reason why she probably married the guy was because she was already pregnant by the time she came back to New York. She ran away with this guy from the land. The guy was married when he was on the land to another woman, and she ran away with him, and then they went and got married and had their daughter.
You see Morse World TV. You see Morse World TV. When you hear the story come out, it does not come out as unbelievable or far-fetched. And I told Leah she could come on the show. She could come on the show, and she chose to go over there to the old graveyard. And I would have respected her and allowed her to speak her piece. And now she's in the chat saying, I was 17 and he wasn't 40. And like, you could have respectfully came on the show. But go ahead, Uma, because Uma is believable. I'm telling you.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to add her daughter's age up to her right now, honestly. Really want to take it there. But yeah. But yeah, the guy was definitely a grown man. you know, and I remember him, he was definitely a grown man, and she definitely ran off the land with him. Um, and it was definitely against my father for sure. He was not he wasn't with it. He was totally against it, which is why she ran away with the guy.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
Now back to the foster care situation. Like I said, it was two separate situations. My older sister felt like, there wasn't enough food in the house. May I add, my brother Jacob, during that time, they were literally in my mom's house eating my mom out of house and home during that time, literally, just because my mother was taking care of everyone. And being the child, I guess being one of the kids, you get neglected. Me and my brother, we were neglected most of the time when you had so many of your older siblings around, just, doing whatever they wanted when they wanted, felt obligated to that, to my mom, whatever expendable things that she had. So that was that. And I even mentioned that in the first video about how my brother, you still owe owe my mother money. And when I spoke to my mom, I asked her about the living situation and why she had to move from there. She told me she couldn't afford it because of all the bills that were accumulating during that time due to people like Jacob and Fatima. And that's the honest truth.
And let me say this to this person, because I like to interact with my audience. Somebody say, so a person can only go on one platform. This YouTube is crazy. No, that's not it. The thing is that we were having a conversation over here on Moorish World TV, and I said Leah could come on to Moorish World TV and tell her story, but I wasn't going to bring her on while Jacob was on, and they were going back and forth so hard. So she took it to Saneter TV, which no problem with that. But Saneter TV, he didn't even do the research to be able to ask the questions to be consistent with what's going on over here. And so that interview there, in my eyes, it was a flop, and it did not even bring us closer to any resolution, because ultimately on Moorish World TV, I'm hoping that even if nobody speak, we can bring forth some sort of understanding. You know what I mean? Because understanding is the rock on which we build ourselves. So if we can understand one another's position, maybe we won't be so vicious or vile or so angry into the future. At least we can understand one another. So that's what I'm about right here. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about right here. 1 second. Let me see if I can hit a few clips real quick. I believe that rich black man. I should get one from each. Let me see if I can get this. I'm gonna try.
Truth does that hold?
All right.
Let me see. I mean, there's proof in who went to the FBI first about my father, right?
So hold on. I didn't mean to get this one.
Like I said yesterday,
not that one. Let me see. So.
I'm here and people are like texting me, Instagramming me, Messenger me. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? This is the first time. And I'm like, in my head, cool. But the disrespectful part was, nobody cared about her. She was in foster care. Yeah, the story behind that is that she called the cops on her own.
Oh, that's the foster care one. You just cleared that up. Let me see what one.
This one.
Man, my son talking too much.
Oh.
Our half brother was shot. I'm sorry. Our okay. My older sister, brother. You don't say the mother saying father.
Yeah, hold up 1 second. I got
that case because he said that he defended himself.
Oh, so there we go. So one of the questions was, I had my son while I was trying to get this thing. So what I was doing is I was taking clips, but I was taking clips so I can, I couldn't really put my stuff together like I wanted to because I had my son.
That's fine.
But what happened is she says, all right, Saneter asked her, was Polite trying to kill you, right? And that brings us back to the story. Was Polite trying to kill you? And she says, the way that she said it, I wish I could just use the clip, but the way that she said it was that she was all the way in Georgia. And when it happened, you called her. But what is she supposed to do? And she was talking and she said the brother got shot Obviously, she wasn't there, but it seemed like she had a detachment when she said, I'm all the way in Georgia. What are we supposed to do? And it lends itself to what you said, that you were on your own, regardless. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So what was that telephone call like when you called her? What was her response from your point, from on your end of the phone?
So I definitely don't recall calling her.
Oh my goodness.
I definitely recall calling my brother Shah.
Right.
And my brother Shah, he told me, you know, don't worry, I'll be there, I'll see you soon, you know. Instead, my brother Abe sent a brother Abdukawi to come stay in the house and chill with me to make sure that I was good. Basically, I had bodyguard there after being surveillance, after house was being surveillance for 2 weeks by police and FBI. You know, after the 2 weeks period, you know, because that's how long they will you know, monitor you to make sure nothing's happening and stuff under their witness protection program and stuff. They monitored the house for 2 weeks, made sure that it kept the organization away and it kept the people away. But of course, you know, that lady, Sister Sakina Patricia Lewis, was literally right next door in my grandmother's house, 7-Eleven, just sitting there, just watching, you know. So is, you know, even though, you know, all the other people were gone temporarily, she was still around, you know.
So another thing that Leah mentioned is that this is all about you still in 2021 trying to get the house on Bushwick.
Nope, not at all.
She says that's what this is about.
Not about that. This is really about
Satan asked her, he said, well, what is this? Why is she doing this? And she said she's trying to get the house on Bushwick.
well, I don't know if you noticed, but every single one of them said they were going after that house. Including Jacob said he had lawyers on it and Fatima sent him paperwork for it. Now, that house, I have my own house. I'm not paying attention to that house right now. What I'm more focused on is getting these people that are operating this organization, that have pedophiles that are still operating that organization. This guy douchebag, you know, he's the ambassador of the organization, and the guy is a child molester and a pedophile. And a woman beater. And, you know, that's my main focal point. My main focal point.
I'm sorry, sis. I don't mean to cut your wisdom. When I cut you, please don't be mad at me.
No, it's fine.
So is Douchwa, is he still supposed to be head of the organization
Yes.
at this hour?
From what I know of, yes. Between him and my aunt Waki, those are the two people that are running that organization.
Is this your brother?
No, he's not my brother at all. This is Damian Pryor.
Okay.
Also,
so why York though?
Yeah, he changed his name he has so many different aliases. His name is Damian Pryor, Basil Muhammad, and now, you know, douchebag York, you know, these are his names.
What's the history behind Douchwa York? What's the history behind him? Have you met him? Have you had experienced any time around him? What's the story?
You know, the only real experience that I've had with this man was him. I've been in a class one time while he was teaching class. Me and my brother both walked into class. This was when I was actually living in 717 Bushwick Avenue. We walked in and he was teaching a class, and we were actually talking to the people like, why is this guy here? You know, we were basically rebuttaling against the guy. Like, we were like, why is he here? Do y'all know who this guy is? And these people were all embracing him. So, you know, when you got a nation of people against you, it's only but so much you could do. You know, it's literally with just me and my little brother, literally, you know, even including my sister Leah was also against us too, you know, so she teamed up with those people against me and my little brother as well.
So what's the story of Damian Pryor? What have he committed? That has he committed some of the allegations of child molestation and those type of acts too?
Yeah, I'll let my husband speak on it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, absolutely. He is absolutely guilty of child molestation. He's a constant woman beater and a molester of children. I'm going to go ahead and play Exhibit A.
So hold up. So okay, this is the special guest that I have on the flyer. Is Sister Uma York husband, Brother Q. So hold up, Brother Q, before you play anything. So you actually were you for the guests that don't know and have not met you, were you also a part of the community on the land and in Bushwick, or just on the land?
No, I did not live on the land. My daughter lived on the land. I came into that organization in 1997.
Right.
And I left in 2012.
So, but you never lived on the land yourself.
No, I helped with the construction. I used to help with design. Well, I did some drawings to help reopen the Brown Pyramid or Mirror when it was locked down. I was, basically a college student that would go to the land all the time to volunteer my time. I was in the Wapping. I came in at 19.
But so is it safe to say that you met a sister who was a functioning a member of the organization, and that's and the result of that, that's how your daughter was born?
That's correct. I met her in Texas.
Okay.
We were both in college at the time, and I was 20, she was 19.
Okay. How did you end up, before we get to the I just want to give the people some little some bones to the story. How did you initially get involved with the organization? How did you get to know of it?
How did I get to know of it? Well, there were some pamphlets circulating when I was in Chicago. I didn't know who Dr. York was at the time, but I read some of his literature. I halfway rejected it because I was a little bit more on the militant side of things, and dabbling in the streets at the time, just trying to find my way. I really bunkered down and received a scroll of his when I moved out to Texas to go to college, which is a good thing for me. I read one scroll called The Melanin Children, and it changed my life. It was something positive.
Okay, I got you. And so from that, you begin to make yourself available
I moved to Georgia. I transferred schools from the college I was at in Texas. I was running track and about to walk on the basketball team and dabble in other things. But as a result of reading The Melanin Children, it gave me a sense of purpose and a mission. So I was meeting the Wapians, or I think it was called the Wapian Nation of Moors at the time.
Right.
I was meeting, good people in the organization at that time, and I met my oldest daughter's mother because she was at I think it was UT Texas, or I forget the youth universities that were in the city of Houston, but I met her at a class. That's
so did y'all joined together, and she went to live on the land. Is that how that worked?
Yeah. We came up together. We moved to Georgia. We moved to Milledgeville to be close. We both tried to move on the land. I was told that, I was asked, what can I actually contribute? Because I was willing to drop out of school at the time. But, there was an older gentleman up there that encouraged me to stay in and, come up when you're done with your degree. Obviously me and my daughter's mom, we didn't last probably a year and a half. I mean, we were both young at the time. So, something like that at that age, you're not adequately prepared. I'm trying to get things established for myself. I had no business having a child at that age, but it was in hindsight, she was able to move onto the land. You know, we had broke up before she moved up. You know.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah. But I was.
How did she
being
end up
supportive.
on the land and you didn't? Okay, so y'all broke up and I think that's a good outline. Now, while she's on the land, are you still visiting the land, or are y'all still in communication?
I'm visiting the land every other weekend or every weekend as much as possible. You know, now keep in mind I'm working and I'm a full-time college student at the time.
Right.
So
Man, so while she's on the land with your child, how long did she stay on the land? Was your child raised on the land to teenage years? How long did that work?
No, absolutely not. My child was born in 98.
Okay.
You know, I met her mom in 97. You know, I knocked her up in 98. Here's the baby. From 99, it was the spring of 99. We were both going to make the decision to go to school, but these weirdo people from up there, after we broke up, they convinced her to move on the land, and I was like, you know, we don't need to move up there. So that was our big split. You know, obviously at that age, I wasn't prepared to, you know, financially, but I was willing to work. You know, had a couple jobs. I was in school full time. Our whole plan was to just both of us go to college, finish our degrees. But she didn't do that. She moved on the land. She dedicated herself full time to the mission. And, you know, I said I will do both. But, you know, it didn't make sense to because we had agreed not to go up there. But, you know, after the breakup, she moved up there with her sister, who was already up there, and her sister's guy at the time, you know, was a big influence on her. So, you know,
So
they shared her up there basically.
okay, so now let's get to what you was calling Exhibit A. What are you referring to when you say Exhibit A in a report?
Exhibit A, I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you real quick. This was from you know, 2009 to 2009.
You can't hear it.
Can you put it closer to the mic?
Looked in my ear, kissed on my neck, talked to me about him having sex when he was 12, and he was saying that children are adults when they're 14 or something like that, in like in the culture or something like that. So as you can see, Basil, Damian Pryor, was talking to a would-be 7-year-old girl all the way up until she was 9 years old about sexual acts, kissing her inappropriately, rubbing on her butt, and licking her neck.
Yeah, I wanted to start it that way because it ties into the fact that, you know, this guy Polite he was bothering a 14-year-old girl, right? And you heard my daughter clearly say that, you know, yeah, at 14, you know, it's a cultural thing. And that paints a picture. You know, there's a lot of these young girls getting knocked up at 14, 15, 16 years old. There's nothing cultural about that. Nowhere in the continent is that, you know, acceptable. You know, a child is not ready at that age. You know, that's called pedophilia.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know.
And he was prepping her clearly.
Yeah, and that's very clear. And you know, I had a conversation with, if I can find, let me see if I can find it real quick. Well, it was around 2016 that I had I forgot all about the conversation actually. That I supposedly had a conversation with Brother Polite, and I don't know what the goofball with the crack juice on the brain from '82 was doing, but he played the clip, and in the clip, Polite is trying to stand on the argument that it's okay for a younger sister, 14 and whatever, to be with a grown man, except, and I'm standing like, nah, that's not right. You know what I mean? Nah. But I forgot all about the daggone conversation. But back to what you said about polite, it seems to me that there is a system in place where at 14, it's the rite of passage, or at the age where this behavior would begin. It's
extremely perverse, and it's an extreme. It's an extreme perversion of culture. You know, it's I can't I have to call it what it is. It's pedophilic. It's that's some pedophile stuff.
And so what happened the moment that you discovered that this guy Douchwa York was trying to prep your daughter into being molested?
I mean, your natural reaction as a father is to go look for him and handle your business, and that's what did occur. He was hid for 3 or 4 weeks by actually the sister of Dr. York. I believe her name is Dale Brown. I found out later that that's where he was hiding out. The mother, when I came to collect my daughter, because he wasn't in the country at the time. Or he, that's the lie that they told me, right? They were trying to, everybody was rallying around trying to, her in particular, she was saying that, don't get her medically checked out. First she's the one that breaks the news to me, right? But come to find out later on that, it's the fear of losing this dirty NF or MF that is what prompted her to really
one moment. Was she involved with him?
Oh, absolutely. She's had several. She stayed with him after the fact. Now let's be clear. I was no longer dealing with her since '99. Before she moved on the land, she wanted to see if she can reconcile. This was back in the spring of '99. She wanted to break up. Then get back together. I was like, hell no, I'm moving on with my life. I'm going to college. I'm doing me. You can go do the land thing because you're disloyal. You know what I mean? It's either, I'm one of those dudes that if I have a plan, I don't care what the situation is. This is what the way we're moving, and what those folks are talking about doesn't seem right. But I'm all for at the time I was all for the mission, the objective. All right, go ahead and move on the land. I'm going to get my life. I'm going to do what I want to do with my life, which has become, what I am now, an architect.
So now that we have perspective, because at first,
and this molestation began in if that was 2009, so it happened, from 2006 moving forward, and so when I found out, there's my immediate reaction. I had my things on me. I was gonna get rid of the dude. She hits me with the, if you touch him, it can affect Doc's case. And Doc said, whoever touches him is against him. So I'm like, whoa. So now I'm really heated. Don't go to the police. But as you can see, Exhibit B, which I sent you, I went to the police anyway. I was trying to press charges.
Let me say this. Now, can you see how that and those that are in support of Dr. York, can't you see how people would take that to say, hold up, we're protecting this guy that that was potentially prepping a 7-year-old to be molested, and how people would say, well, yeah, Dr. York, he did this, he did that. And now we hear a story where like, nah, and we know that his life is on the line dealing with this trial. How, and you still went to the police. So obviously we know how you felt about that. But can people out there listening do they really understand? I wonder do they really understand the statement that was made. And then I have my brother Issa Mati L says that Issa El Mati, he says that did Dr. York really say that? You see what I'm saying?
Did Dr. York really say that? This is my take on that. I know for a fact that she ran to him with it. And I think that was something she said to me on the fly to get me to back off, old boy. You know, a lot of these people, like your Sakinas, your Patricia Lewis's, they will come. Doc said, 90% of that of the time, that did not come from him. You know, if you think of the time because I was there real time, there's no way in hell, all right. But you know, later on, because she's the one that brought him to the table, and put him in position to, you know, along with Waukee and with Waukee and some other selected siblings of Dr. York, they put this guy in place, Damian Pryor. All right, they put him in place because he was a nobody in the organization prior to Dr. York. When Dr. York was out, he was nowhere to be found. He was running around with you know, some of Dr. York's children. All right. He was hanging out with that crowd.
He was hanging out with my brother Ayub and Jacob and that what they said that inner crowd, that up crowd, he was hanging out with them.
Yeah, he was, and he pops up after the case, you know, just like Leah did. Mm-hmm. You know, I was, you know, totally wasn't aware of her until after you know, York is incarcerated.
That's because she was out stripping.
Yeah, that's her personal business. But yeah, she was out doing whatever. Yeah, these you know, there was a crowd of them that was, you know, out in the world, I guess, and then they pop up after the fact. So you know, the fact that he was hanging out with the guy that they, allegedly created the quote unquote conspiracy, and then he's supposed to be the star witness. You know, once I met my wife years later, I've come to find out he was actually sabotaging a lot of his case, and I can paint clear pictures on a lot of his sabotage. But anyway, you know, he's with my daughter's mom, and you know, obviously he's whooping her tail, and you know, and abusing her, and has her sprung to the point that and she's always had low self-esteem. I knew that about, and that's one of the main reasons I didn't want to deal with her, period. And when she tried to get back, I was like, hell no, you crazy. You go about your life.
So she is with him today?
No. He's abused her, and this guy's constantly abusing women. It is no secret that I think there was another sister recently that was in the press going in about this guy. So all these years later, this guy is still abusing women, molesting kids, doing all this crazy nonsense. But let me paint the picture for you though. So when she hits me with that, and you know, obviously I didn't believe it came straight from Doc, because it happened too fast. I could tell she was covered for him.
Right.
As well as the aunt there, you know, Dr. York's sister, Dale Brown. So, you know, I find out through the grapevine that, you know, he was hanging out over there all that time. They wait until, you know, so I write, because I wasn't getting any support from the organization. I write Doc about it. You know, I obviously took it to the authorities. I'm like, shit. They tell me that, you know, because I was in Savannah, Georgia, you know, getting a master's degree at the time, and this is Clark County, Athens, Georgia, and they're like probably 6-7 hours away from each other. Me being out of town, I you know, the question was, you know, were you there? The mother has to press charges, and the mother used this, you know, the whole case and this conspiracy crap, the whole case, and fighting for Doc's freedom as an excuse not to, and just a bunch of nonsense. You know, this is your daughter.
Let
So
me ask,
yeah, I took my daughter, obviously.
so you sent me the police report. I
Yeah, I
want
sure
to
did.
read that demonstration real quick. Let me see if I can drop it down here and read it real quick. Is that it right there? Yeah, that's it right there.
And I also sent you the letter because I wound up writing Doc about the situation. Like, you know, I had some pretty hot words, obviously.
So we're gonna get into that too, fam. So we're gonna read the letter. So you sent me the letter that
he wrote back to me.
Okay. So yeah, so family, please thumbs up in this. And again, just because I'm putting the Cash App in, that's what I have to ask Uma too. Uma, do you know that I want to say, just because I'm putting the Cash App in, I do appreciate all your support. But a lot of people tell me to put the Cash App in, as they suggested for Uma York. And the sister Leah, if you're still watching, Leah, you went on there very disingenuous when you said that Uma was asking for Cash Apps, and why is she asking for Cash Apps? She's trying to get paid. Uma never asked for Cash App. People wanted to give her a contribution, and they asked her to put the Cash App in. And Uma was not thinking about a Cash App. I asked Uma for her Cash App because the people was asking for the Cash App. That wasn't Uma. The only reason she posted the Cash App is because the people asked for it. And anybody that was we got people that's in this chat every time I go live, and they know that for sure.
And I want to also say thank you to everybody who donated. The money actually goes to my charity. I have a school in Haiti that I actually donate to. It's about 80 children there that I've been working with them for about 5 to 6 years now.
Let me stop for 1 second, sis. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish. This is how illogical you are, Leah. And she could have said, "No, I'm good. I don't need it." It takes finance to change situations. And if people feel that they can make a contribution to offset a person's bill, to offset a person work that they do in the community, or as Uma just mentioned about a charity, then why would someone say, "No, I'm good, I don't need it"? We always need finance if we are going to do something in our community, even if we want to offset some of our expenses, and people want to be gracious and show gratitude financially. Come on, stop that, Leah.
You know, that's just silly. We're not going to entertain that. I mean, when I met my wife took Leah in off the street. So yeah, my wife has always been financially stable on her own that I've seen since I met her, and it has continued to do so. And you know, I mean, shit, our situation is very stable.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, stop.
We good.
It doesn't make you look good, sister.
Fine over here.
It just doesn't make you look good, Sister Leah.
Yeah, it's childish.
Yeah, because people actually extended the put out the Cash App, and that's the only reason I started putting the Cash App in, because people was telling me, "Where's your Cash App? Where's your cash?" And I appreciate it because it offset a lot of things that I do in my life, in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Whether if I tell people all the time, I work on houses. I'm trying my best to build a community, and $5 you can get 5 paintbrushes at the dollar store today.
Absolutely.
Dollar Tree sell paintbrushes. You see what I'm saying? That makes a difference. And so, Leah, please, I said Leah. I mean, Uma, tell us about finish. Tell us about your charity so we can go on to the next step real quick. I want to
you know, due to, I guess, my childhood experiences, you know, I took a likings into wanting to help the children in Haiti.
We'll send you a video.
We have a video. I did a video I have a couple of videos. I just recently uploaded some, probably like a month or two ago. But yes, children that are runaway children, children whose parents, went through natural disasters, who were left alone. Some of them are sex trafficked children and stuff like that. So there's a school that we take care of. Like I said, over 80 children there. After the earthquake, I could imagine if it's probably a lot more children there now, after the recent earthquake in Haiti. So I'm sure we're going to be making another trip there soon. But, we provide them with, food, book bag, clothing, stuff, anything that's needed, for the kids to survive, including seeds for them to grow food.
Come on.
On the land as well, so.
I have the brother's financial information to his financial institution down there. If for anyone who wants to donate straight to him, directly to him, and bypass us, feel free to do so, and I'll give it to you, Taharka.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we, it's something we're passionate about.
Yeah.
Absolutely, family. And I'll put it in.
Unlike these bums over there on that other.
Yeah. Keep on saying, come on, man. Come on, y'all got to give me a cash app. Come on, y'all want me to do another show?
Yeah, we
yeah,
we don't need cash. We don't need the cash apps.
Give me $5. Show. I mean, over there acting crazy. But what I wanted to do is, man. Hold up. Here we go. I'm about to share this, bro. I'm about to share it and read it. Let's see what we got.
Go ahead.
So I think this is the police report. If I'm not.
Yeah, I think that's the last page of it. Yeah.
But that's the last page? Let me see.
Yeah. There's multiple pages.
I need to get the first page then. Give me 1 second. Why do I only see? The other page is on a form, right?
Yes. It's I think it's 4 pages to the report, and the last page, obviously the statement that was taken.
So let me see what I got, because I got them all over the place. But it goes like this. So you were serious business. You wasn't playing around.
No, I wasn't playing.
So,
I'm not playing about my.
Let me see. Right here,
any child that I give life to.
Yeah, it's Damien Pryor. Let's see what we got on here. I don't know what I'm reading. I don't see too much popped in here. So that's one page there. Let me go to the other page real quick.
The point of that is I'm stamping time with these documents, and yeah, I got paperwork.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and let me pull up one more. So this is the actual. Let me see if I can pull up one where I can see more clearly. Oh, I see what you did. Time. Let's see what this one says. I see you marked out. Oh, you marked out your daughter.
No, the police officers do that, to protect. Obviously,
she was underage.
Yeah, she's underage. You know what I mean? She was 10 years old at the time.
Yeah. This is one of them receipt platforms here.
We do receipts over here.
That's right. So, victim, and it's talking about the victim here, and this is for your daughter, and a juvenile. So I'm just looking over it, and
it says molestation right in there.
Is it on this one?
It's on the first page, and
I actually did see that too.
Yeah.
Let me see. So whatever happened with the police and Damon Pryor?
They
I want to read that last page when you finish.
I played the entirety of the recording of my daughter, because she was scared. She's 10. I didn't want to bring it into the station. So a good buddy of mine, we went up to the police. He and I went up to the police station. I go into the back room. I tell them what the situation is. They told me that the mother has to come forward, and I still have an open case though. I still had an open case at the time, and they said they'll do everything in their power. So in light of what took place on that land, you see, how they did, York situation. They you can just have an accusation, and it seems like they'll run with it. But I was told that the mother had to come forward, maybe a month or two later, because I was constantly on their butts about it. I think it was the second time that they let me know that he has another warrant. No, in fact, that first day they looked him up, and he had other warrants, right? That he needed to get picked up for. So I'm thinking this guy is on his way. Maybe a month later, I'm constantly calling, every week or bi-weekly. And I'm asking what's up with the case, and they tell me there's another situation that they found out that he's involved in, and it's kind of higher up, and they really can't touch it. There's nothing we could do for you. Something that was federal. They mentioned this to me over the phone. I was like, whoa, okay. And this dude is still out. So what that tells me is, I'm thinking he's, obviously he's a government implant into that organization. He's allowed to to wreak havoc on the community. I mean, digging more about him, what I find out over the years that he was incarcerated with one of my wife's brothers. Some scam stuff, and he gets out, and the other one dies in prison. So it's like, this guy is, and us, me being from the hood, I know for a fact the only way you getting out is unless you telling or turning on somebody.
Right.
So
this case just lingered and nothing became of it.
Nothing became of it. So that tells me, one, that the United States government don't give a damn about black children. That's one, and nor did that organization. As long as that you could throw around, he's gonna help out with Doc's case and blah blah blah. Or he has this. He came under the premise that he has this powerhouse testimony that was gonna bust the case wide open and all this other nonsense. That he was working on Doc's behalf, and he's gonna get him transferred over to Ghana. And I know a lot of the inner workings of how that took place. This guy's just been there sabotaging the entire time, collecting money, abusing women, abusing children, and I can let I could play some more of my daughter talking about circumstances, mentioning other women's names, but I'm not going to do that now. I think I made my point.
Absolutely. And I want to read this. Go ahead, brother. I want to read this police report.
Go ahead.
Back end. And I want to say, family, I want to thank all of y'all that share and thumbs up. Take a minute right now and thumbs up the video. And I tell people all the time, thumbs up is just important as anything else. I know the bottom feeders, they want you to cash app, and that's good. But one of the most important things that we need to do is get this message out. And in order to get this message out, what's going to take is the algorithms. And the algorithms is when the haters come in, when they make a comment, the thumbs up is very important. Even the thumbs downs are good. But it's all about activity. And so I ask y'all to thumbs up so we can get the activity going, so we can get it in rotation. And then the conversation will expand even more. With that being said, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, to bring some forth awareness that, man, this seems like a culture has been centered. It seemed like it became a culture of silencing behavior that should be unacceptable from the beginning, from the start. You know what I'm saying? That's what it seems to me. So here we go. Say it again, brother.
I said absolutely.
So it says on 8/17, that's 08, right?
Mm-hmm.
I met with blank in reference to his 10-year-old daughter being molested by blank Damian Pryor. Blank told me that Pryor had kissed his daughter on the neck, stuck his tongue in her ear, and rubbed her buttocks several times over the past 2 years. Did not tell her father about this until recently, but she was afraid he would get upset and get in trouble himself. The daughter now lives full-time with blank and blank. And that was the police report right there on Damien Pryor, Bourgeois. Bourgeois. Is I said right? Bourgeois.
Yeah, douchebag.
I said Bourgeois Bay. I done made it before.
Douchebag.
But so and what I'm just trying to figure out, how did they ultimately just let that phase out?
Well, they told me over the phone once again that you know he was a part of a higher case, you know, something that was federal.
Okay.
and there's the, you know, it's out of their hands. You know, just gave me a bunch of smoking BS.
Right.
You know, damn my child.
Yeah. Cryptonomics say, Morse World TV, can you replay the audio? It was hard to hear. Are you able to play that portion of the audio that you just played a minute ago?
Let me rewind it. Yeah. She gonna take over.
I guess while he's rewinding the video, I want to say that, you know, not everybody in the organization is bad, but there are definitely a handful of the people that are administration and people that control the organization that are spreading this amongst the other people and newcomers that are coming in. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are coming in that are being told this, you know, or saying that this is, you know, being told that this is a part of their culture and stuff. So I wanted to also mention that because the organization is so big, you know, I don't want to, you know, just go around throwing everybody under the bus. But, you know, the reality of it is there's definitely a lot of people in the administration that know exactly what's going on with children, and they're not doing anything about it, including my family. A lot of the people in my family are sweeping this stuff under the rug as if there isn't siblings that had children at the age of 14 years old by 40-year-old men. You get what I'm saying? And that's that. And I'm not even speaking about Leah. I'm speaking about other siblings as well, you know, that they don't want to talk about, you know? So, yeah.
You know what's funny to me is that I've been around what they would call conscious brothers and sisters for over 20 years. You know, I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America in some regard when I was 17 or 18 years old. I wasn't always right and exact. I was trying to find my way like everybody else do, come from the environments where we come from. However, this is the crazy thing about it to me. And I got to admit, and people might get mad at me, but I have never met a brother or sister, and I've met many of them. I don't know much about the doctrine. I know that there's different variations of the doctrine, from the Hebrew doctrine to the Muslim doctrine to the Moor doctrine to the, you know what I'm saying? I know about that framework, but I've met a lot of people, but I've never met the people that I'm hearing about on Moorish World TV.
Yeah, these are like main people that
every new Wahhabian that I met is upstanding.
Yeah, you know, I've met some.
There's a lot of good
there's a lot of great Nuwapians and people that have joined the organization that wanted some liberation for our people and wanted, you know, they wanted to, you know, embrace the knowledge and the culture and stuff like that. And I can't take that away from them. You know, the reality of it is there's still some monsters in the midst of this, you know, organization that people are ignoring. And, you know, it's been times where I've seen, you know, people come to class and they literally let their children run free. You know, it was a time when I was in Bushwick and these people all came to class and they had their kids running across, literally just running the streets. And I had to tell these people, my son went downstairs and collected the kids and had them all playing video games in his room. Literally, I fed the kids and everything. These people came out of class, didn't know where the heck their kids was. And the sad part about it is like these people have to watch their kids, you know, and that's another big thing about what I'm bothered by. You know, I know people looking at it like, you know, it's a part of culture, but this isn't Africa. People ain't running free on no land or anything like that. Y'all got your kids out here playing chicken, or what they call that, with the streets and stuff. Like, y'all can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have to monitor your kids around these people. There are people in organizations and other just people you don't know that are sickos. You have to watch out for your kids. You know?
Q, are you there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got it.
I can't wait till I bring I remember brother told me one day, I'm a new WAPO. You know, they do WAPO. I'm like, they change it up on me sometimes. But I can't wait till I bring up one of the upstanding new WAPians on, so I can get some more insight on the organization. Because I'm telling you, I can call a brother right now, Montu. He has a stand at the flea market in Baltimore. Been with the brother Ride or Die for years. Building and talking and man, and I'm just saying that I'm gonna ask Q what. Oh, they said Nuwapu. Yeah, I might got it wrong because I don't know I just know good people when I see them, and I met a lot of good people. But with that being said, Q, what was the moral code of the community? Like our moral code, right, is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know what I'm saying? We have things like outlines like keep your passions within the bounds of righteousness. Do definitely ain't killing. I mean, we got a standard, a moral code. Was there
we had a
moral code, if you will?
Yes, there very much was, and it's something that was enforced. There was no, drinking alcohol, smoking, all these things. I'm not saying folks didn't do it, but that wasn't visible.
Okay.
We, respect for women, children, all the positive things that you could think of was promoted. All right, doing for self and kind. We were building, and the intent was to build something for of and by the people. So
it was for the children's sake, actually.
I just really want to know is one thing that really, really, really triggers my thinking. How did it go left with all of these allegations and all of the allegations
when
of sexual connotation? There is no allegations of, man, we was robbing every store to build this community. Man, some people went out, snatched purses. Man, some people stole cars and we had a chop shop. Man, all of them are of sexual connotation.
I see. Yeah, I concur. My first 5 years in the organization, there was no signs of that, now this organization predates me by many, many years. Right. Like I said, I came in 97. I can't speak to anything prior to that. It's not fair for me to victim shame any legitimate victims. It's not fair to me to say yay or nay. I can only go by what I actually saw.
Right.
All right. And what he required of us at the time was something that was positive. Now, whether, if he has skeletons in his closet, I wasn't there. How would I know?
Right. I got you.
That's the most honest answer.
I got you. So yeah,
it was fine when I got in.
Hey man, listen. When I start seeing them producing the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America with the green hardback and the red ink on the front, and Dr. York was inside that demonstration, I said, "Good goodness gracious, they taking over everything."
Yeah. His intent was to because to gather these lessons and put them in hardback.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. A new Wapian gave it to me more Islam, more Doc just put this book out. I want you to have it. I opened that.
Yeah, and that was the instruction, to give it away.
Yeah, because I was. People would consider fanatical, like, man, nah, you don't produce this. Only the boys produce this. But the brother, Islam more. Doc put this together. I want you to have it.
He didn't alter any words. He didn't alter any words.
He did. I'm looking at him like, all right, bro. and unfortunately, man, I wish I would have kept that, man, because you can't find them no more. I wish I would have kept that, but I sent it to a brother who was incarcerated. He needed a Quran. And I said, brother, you can take this one. A brother gave it to me as a gift, but cherish it. And I'm not sure what happened, but yeah. You got the recording?
I have it. Let's go.
Oh, it's kiss someone that talked to me about him having sex when he was 12, and he was saying that children are adults when they're 14 or something like that, in like the culture or something like that.
So as you can see, Basil, Damian Pryor, was talking to would-be 7-year-old girl all the way up until she was 9 years old about sexual acts, kissing her inappropriately, rubbing on her butt, and licking her neck.
This is a really old recording, so this is the loudest that
I can hear it. I can actually hear it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I can actually hear exactly what it's saying. You know what I'm saying? Man, wow. And as I asked you in the background, I just wanted to ask you before Morris World TV audience, how is your daughter doing now? In relation to that experience, first and foremost, and then how is she doing in life, period?
Well, like any young adult, there's ups and downs. You know, there is a little bit of you know, there's obviously a lot of disdain for her mom. There's still pain there. She's trying to cope with it and get past it. You know, I'm just grateful it it was just preparatory, and he didn't go all the way with it. It could be a thing where, you know, it could have been a lot worse, right?
Right.
But yeah, there's psychologically, you know, it still affects her. You know, the trauma is real, man, and I'm just trying to help her work through it as best I can. You know, it was traumatic for me. I was obviously real hot, heavy, and angry, period. And you know, even throughout the experience, she was a sweet little girl. She was just trying to protect her mom the best she can. I'm trying to explain to her, your mom is protecting the bad guy right now. You don't need to be protecting her. So I'm mad at her for protecting, you know, and you know, to be fair, her mom was clearly abused, but you know, but we're not giving any excuses for that. That's nonsense. The babies come first, period.
Oh, man, this is something, man. Let me look at so when you here we go. So when you wrote Dr. York, what was the contents of your letter to Dr. York? That's what I wanted to ask you.
All right, I'm gonna have to paraphrase, because you know, obviously those were quite a few years ago. But you know, obviously, with most of the good folks in the organization kind of being hands off from it, you know, just brothers coming up saying things like, you know, I wish I can, you know, I wish I can help you out, bro, and you know, man, bro, you know, I feel for, you know, just a bunch of, you know, this is my point of view with that, right? We're supposed to be breaking away and establishing something where we're on our own, independent of this white man, and leading the charge in which we are not under the influence by alien races, period, or you know, and doing for self and kind. So that means policing also,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
That means taking care of our women and children and being responsible for the activities that go on in the community. And I saw none of that when my situation popped up. So obviously I wrote something that was you know, let them know how I felt. I'm fucking disappointed. You know what I mean? You know, how could you and I asked him, did you close are you trying to close me from administering justice? And you see his response. So
absolutely. We're going to read that in a second. And I want everybody to know, man, thank you, Issa. Issa say the chronology of these shows was exposing Poor Light and the shooting situation at Bushwick, then exposing Douchwa. Dr. York was not the main focus. And I want to underscore that Sister Uma came on the show because I was doing a show about Polite and the molestation of charges that he's facing, that he allegedly molested and raped a 14-year-old. And Uma York obviously seen that. It triggered something, and she's like, hold up. This is the same guy that tried to take me out. This guy is doing the same thing that I witnessed people around that community doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell my story. Hopefully, it'll be able to help somebody. Now, with that being said, I'm getting a lot of people giving me junk mail because I just delete you. You're giving me junk mail when you talk about, oh, so you think Dr. York is innocent? Oh, so you protecting a child molester? Oh, we haven't even reached that story yet. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop intersecting stories. Right now, what we're talking about is what appears to be a culture of molestation among the regular, everyday people that's supposed to be in what we will come to see, not so conscious, but supposed to be conscious community. But there's going to come a time real soon, as we cover in this story, where we will look into Dr. York's case, and we will bring people on from both sides of the argument and look at it with a clean eye, not with no emotions, not with no hang-ups, and we'll look at it with a clean eye. But right now, we're just not there yet. We're still talking about Uma York's situation, her husband's situation, and it all falls in line right now. We need to learn to focus and learn how to categorize.
Well, the whole point is
one issue at a time.
The whole point is not really a situation like that. We're just trying to put bad guys away, real simple, or at least warn the community, be responsible somewhat.
And the thing is, ultimately, in putting bad guys away, that's a part of it, but it's a lot of other elements of these stories that can be real beneficial in our community.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of other parts, as I told you off camera. When somebody wants to build a community, we have to examine, is that person targeted, or did that person put a target on his back? And that will become the question of the Nuwaubians and the land in Georgia. Did the Nuwaubians put a target on their back, or were they target? And the way that you put a target on your back, you deal with certain behaviors that even if somebody was to set you up, you gave them all the goods because of the behaviors in which you demonstrated. And so that's going to be a conversation. Was the target put on the back, or were you just targeted? And we're going to look at that too. But so Dr. York wrote you a letter. You want to read it, or you want me to read it?
You can go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Something just jumped out to me on the letter. Cherry red fast. Hold up, Doc.
Yeah, I have Moorish ancestor.
So let me see. Now, I can't read the Nuwapu.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. All right. Let's see. He said, I did receive your letter. It was not dated. So I don't know exactly when you sent it yet. Received it 10 October 2008 AD. And I mean this from the Ib heart, son. We have our laws and we will deal with the matter. I know who you are, son. I always remember you in your cherry-colored fez. Good goodness and gracious. Here we go. I self-lord and master, Islam. As to me, great Nabi, Prophet Sharif, Noble Drew Ali, on him be peace taught well, son. I was happy to hear my granddaughter Nawar is well. I always ask, and you tell her, I say, stay strong. I will be home soon. And no one hurts my grands. That's all on that. That's all on that. For now, son, I know you overstand my words. PAAA2, the Most High, has second power. It's good you will be engaging on the architectural plans. That's what's needed in Africa, our home. And you would do my tomb for me, or Boab tomb. No, right? It's the same as the Hebrew door in Arabic. Boab, doorway. Something in, I see why you writing another language. And Napatan, Nuwapic tomb, or the gateway to the underworld. It must be a more pyramid. I'm trying to get it right, fam. Work with me. Well, once I'm free, we will talk about it. Once I'm free, we'll talk about it. It's good that the new Noir is with you. It's good that Noir is with you and is safe and happy. Don't feel hurt. You could not do anything about it, nor could nephew. So don't be upset. Let me see if I can go to the next page. So don't be upset.
Trying to say Neeful. Trying to say her mom.
Okay.
Neeful. Yeah.
So don't be upset with her. Okay, so he said don't be upset with her mom. I know how much she loved Noir. Please trust me on this. Lay it to rest for now. It's not the Nuwapian tribe or family, nor her. It's a sickness. Hold up. It's a sickness, the same kind of mind that lied on me and projected how they think and live and lied on me. That is the Muslim mind. All you have to do is read with an open mind, unlike we used to do. We read Islam for what we felt was good. We did not stop and really look at the life or way of life. It's all sounded so nice, so deep. But what's that? But behind the book Al Quran and the Hadith Sunnah, you see a life about women and children not so good. Facts. Look at the Torah. You're an adult at your bar or bat mitzvah at 13, and how Muhammad of Arabia took a wife named Aisha at the age 9. Aisha at the name age 9, and consummated it. And when she was age 11, that was the very prophet of Islam. Then who do they make the next Khalifa over Islam? Her own father, Abu Bakr. And it's even more when you read Arabic and Hebrew, as I do in the Talmud. Wow, son. So it's a mind given to the children, it's a mind given to the children. Next in the West, other than other parts of the world, they wish to ignore that the children are not the same as my time now with computers. All kinds of cinema these children see and watch. Hear things you and I never saw. Their minds are much more grown than ours was. They grow up faster, have sex much younger. He puts it out there on TV all day, kissing at a young age, boyfriends, all all on TV. He plants it in their mind. He makes evil look like fun and pleasure to feel good. That's it. So we have to really work hand. So we really have to really work hard. Some of my own daughters have babies. If we were still on our land, that would not have happened. But Sales and Demons knew that his own son is gay and used to beat his wife for having sex with his son's friends. So who is that? It's a Seals.
Yeah, Sheriff Sales. What he's talking about.
Sheriff Sales. Okay, that's the sheriff.
Yeah.
He used to beat his wife for having sex with his son's friends. That the New World Order. That's the New World Order. But as you and I both know, his time is up. His 6,000 years has ended. Look around, son. Can't you see his world coming down day by day? It's our time again. Well, I will close for now. Hope to hear from you soon. Talk to you soon. Wadu Pops. Okay. Did I say that right? Wadu?
Yeah, that's correct.
Wadu Pops. And you know, and reading that, you know, it gives some. And this is the thing. In reading that, which I don't want to venture into that yet, but in reading that, it makes you really wonder. Everything that I read concerning Dr. York, nothing really jumps out to me. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really jumps out to me that I can be like, aha. Because like somebody just put in there, that man is justifying molestation in that letter. I didn't see it as he was justifying molestation. I see where he was really underscoring how they normalize molestation.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
That's what it sounded to me like society has normalized the molestation, as he gave the examples about, you know, you turn on the TV, it's even worse now. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like he was trying to codify and you know, say that it was okay. But hey, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't come off like that to me. But again, we're going to get to that point where we have that conversation from both sides. And I believe with Bo and Now TV, you know, this is a sad state of events. This is a sad state of events that has happened. It's really bad. You know what I'm saying? It's really bad. And I'm just, man. And it seems like everybody that was a part of that situation have been affected different ways.
Absolutely. You know, fast forward, that's what began to fracture. Yeah, because I have different, you know, not all brothers, because most brothers were good and upstanding, but there would be a few. I ain't gonna even go into that, but you know, they would ask, how old is Not War now? Isn't she 16? I'm like, no, she's 13, weirdo. Why are you asking the age?
Yeah.
You know, so there's something weird with that, you know, that whole 14, 15, 16 thing. Like it's just a thing to do. Even 17 is not cool.
Yeah, not when you're 40, 30, you know. 17 should be with 17. I mean, 19.
I mean, for me, and this is just me personally, I don't do the boyfriend girlfriend thing. When my daughters are over 20 at a certain age, they're to get married. You know, we don't do the dating thing.
Let me ask those that are in the listening audience. Is there anybody in the listening audience? Because everybody has an opinion, seems to say. Is there anybody in the listening audience that think that they are able to give us a clear understanding of Dr. York in a respectful way on both sides of the argument? You know what I'm saying? Some people say view card going down. Nobody worrying about views. Let me block him real quick. He want views. Let me one more view count going down. You. Wow. One more view count going down. You. Is there anybody in the audience that that can present us with some understanding on both sides of the argument? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm here for both sides of the argument. I want to, because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And I'm just not saying that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Lately I wanted to really look into it and dig into it, but I just haven't had the time since I've been covering this. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you, Q. Do you know people who have had the experience or have admitted to having the experience on the side of the things that Dr. York has been accused of? And I'm not going to ask you whether you believe it or not. I'm just asking, have you ever heard anybody directly? Because that's the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't say that. You know, a lot of the people that have accused them of that, clearly I didn't grow up in the mosque or in the community directly. I didn't live in the community per se. So no, I can't sit up here and fabricate anything. No.
Okay, I got you. And I think we need to be, and Morse World TV is trying to build a mature platform where we can have these conversations minus the emotional thing. Somebody said, watch the Tariq Noel video. I've watched the Tariq Noel video, and in fact, I also have him recanting. What is that all about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about all this, and this includes a lot of people. That they go through this thing where they conspired.
No, they use my siblings to get to these people to make them recant.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
They used my siblings to get these recantments because these people were like their friends. They were raised with them their whole life, so they had them doing recantments and stuff like that. So, and I can vouch for that because, yeah.
I'm sorry. I want to say this to Bro Hot Air. We know that he pled guilty. That's not. We know that he pled guilty, and I always say I'm going to support the victims regardless. The whole thing. So nobody is saying he's not guilty. Let's get that right there. Nobody saying he's not guilty. What we're saying is, what I'm saying is, there seems to be a lot of mitigating circumstances going on around here. I'm not saying, listen, he's guilty because he's pled guilty according to the law. But when you hear these stories, it's a lot of mitigating circumstances going on. And I think as a responsible platform, we should, if we are interested in it, we should take time and look at these things. That's what I'm saying. Is that fair? Or am I just, if I'm crazy, that we shouldn't revisit this? We're in the social media era. Everybody loves to talk about it and gossip about it, and they've been doing it for years, but no one ever went on these platforms. Receipt. The opposition, those that are pro York and those that oppose Dr. York. You know what I'm saying? Somebody say, didn't he impregnate children? I don't know. Astrolite, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know the deeper stories. I really don't know, family. You know what I'm saying? But I like what Uma York said, which I will use for investigation. I mean, so see somebody say he withdrew the plea. I don't know. So I don't want to put myself in the middle because I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? But some people do. I mean, but I like what Uma York says. She said that I'm gonna call you New University TV. I got your message too. Uma York, she said that all you have to do is just check the ages of the mothers and the child, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, we haven't seen anybody. I don't know. Let me ask the audience. Has anybody seen one of the victims of, which we're not going to go all the way there. Has anybody seen one of the victims go on a campaign to say that they were molested by Dr. York and haven't changed their story yet? Have anybody seen that yet? Publicly. Maybe somebody had, maybe somebody did. I'll look at the comments later. But somebody said you tap dancing. No, Anthony B.
I used to always
Let me
ask
say
my
this real
question.
quick to Anthony B. Anthony B. This is not tap dancing. This is called journalism. This is called let's get into the conversation without the emotion and let's hear both sides. That's what it is. I'm educated on the matter through what Uma York have shared with me. I'm educated on the matter to what I've heard since I've been covering this. But that's about far as I can go with it. But I'm gonna reach out to somebody who is very knowledgeable of this, and we'll go there. With that being said, Uma York, the floor is yours, sis.
I was just I always said this, just amongst other peers and stuff that I was raised with, and or just knowing from in the community. He was monitored. There was always someone with him all the time, 24/7. This man couldn't wipe his behind without there being a woman there or someone there. So another thing we spoke about was, these women, they all know something and they all hid it amongst themselves. And they it's like they endangered the welfare of children. If something was happening, you know what I'm saying, that means someone watched it. I mean, he couldn't walk outside for 10 minutes. Like he said to me, I couldn't walk outside for 10 minutes for a walk before I turn around and there's 20 people behind me. And like I said in the first interview, these women were plastered to his screen, even before he walked outside. So it's like the man didn't have no space to himself. So someone, if this was happening, someone watched it. They condoned to it and they entertained it some way, somehow. And I refuse to believe that, children weren't being hurt. I seen there was this one girl, I remember her mother was abusing her all the time. I feel like as if some of these women were grooming their children. I feel strong. Like I feel like they were grooming their children and to be with grown men, and that's how I really feel about that. I don't think that, he was the only person. There's other people, just like I said, there's other men in that community that are waiting hand and foot, like, oh, how old are you? I mean, the whole time that people have known me, I get creepy people in my DM just because I'm his daughter. You get people that say stuff like, man, I love your father so much, and man, you look just like your father. And I'm like, dude, that's creepy. You know what I'm saying? These people say really weird, creepy stuff, so I just want to, it's weird. Like I said, the whole situation just seems very strange to me, all the way across the board, and a lot of his kids are hiding stuff, and I just want to say that they can hate me all they want. They could call me crazy all they want, but they know they all hiding something, as well as they were the ones having people doing recantments and stuff like that. So, it is what it is.
Well, I've heard confessions, or if not confessions, statements of people saying that Jacob York molested them. That stuff never seen the light of day. Why is Dr. York the only one locked up? If we looking at this like right now, we talk about Dushwa York, we're talking about Jacob York, we're talking about other people I heard about some sisters that was sleeping with 13-year-old boys. I mean, I read the statements. I read them.
Oh, you're talking about the girl Ada, the
Yeah.
one Lopez,
Why
the one
nobody
Lopez.
else, was anybody else locked up? Anybody know? Was anybody else
was,
locked up? This is crazy.
there was some of them were locked up, but they literally got let go. Like they got let go like nothing. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I know exactly why they got let go, because some of them served a little bit of time, but the kids, some of my siblings ended up in de facto custody. They ended up in child service custody. And when they ended up in child service custody, you know, their mothers was also incarcerated. Some of their mothers were also incarcerated, and and my dad was also incarcerated as well. And what they told him was, if you do not plead guilty, that your kids will end up in our system. I believe that was something that I remember our family. I'm just going off of what our family spoke about. This is word around our family, that they told him that if he didn't plead guilty, that they were gonna keep his kids in custody. And to him, he didn't want his kids in their custody at all. So that's what I know me and my siblings, or shall I say relatives, have spoken about when it comes down to the situation. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that he did have a child by a 16-year-old. That still does not excuse that fact. You know what I mean?
So Dr. Luke actually had a child by a 16-year-old?
Yes, one of my youngest
That's
siblings.
molestation all day, every day.
One of my youngest sibling, he's only about 20 years old now, and I believe his mother was about 16 years old.
There it is. I mean, and there it is. And we can't listen. From all the support and all of that, there it is. We can't play both sides of the fence. If somebody can disprove that, then there you go.
I mean, like I said, it's all in the children. When you start adding some of these siblings up, you know what I'm saying? You start adding some of their mothers up, including some of my brother's siblings as well. You know what I'm saying? Start adding them up. The numbers don't lie. Don't believe me. You know what I'm saying? All y'all got to do is do your research. You know what I'm saying? That's what they said. A wise man do their own research.
Absolutely. And let me see. LSMV emailed me at morrisworldtv.com. She said no, she was 17. But I mean, I still think
17 is still a child, though. That's still young. That I don't know how you can't justify a 17-year-old having a baby. That
who says 16 can be a legal adult?
y'all people are sick. Y'all are sick for even saying that. Y'all are sick. You know what I'm saying? I was 19 when I had my son, and I was still too young to have a child.
Yeah. 16 is not an adult.
Y'all are sick.
16
That's not an adult.
And 16, can you imagine a 16-year-old child laying up with a 50, 60-year-old man? That come on, and put that image in your mind for a minute. I don't want you to, but just try it and see, does it make sense? And see, does it?
That's a lie. Oh, that's a lie. Come on, man. Good. You people are sick, man.
What?
Like I said, my siblings, they can hide this stuff all they want. Like I said, numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? The same way my sister sat here, the same way Leah came up here and said, oh, I was married to that man. Yeah, a 30-year-old man when you were only 15, 16.
Yeah. And let
y'all are covering shit up. There's something dysfunctional with that entire family. And you know what? If they want to exile me for being sane, that's fine. If y'all want to call me crazy because y'all think y'all are sane, that's fine too.
Let me say this. I'm not going to get emotional about it because I think this is an interesting story that's finally getting the attention that it actually needs on this level. I see we got Nupu in here, which as we can wrap up. Anything else you want to add, sis? I think we covered it all, and Q covered a whole lot too. But what I'll do is I'll open the door for a few to come in, and but I gotta let you and Q make sure that y'all got everything that y'all need out before we move to the next topic in the future. They said facts, Uma.
Man, I can't even. I can't, man. You know, I'm just thinking about myself, like as a child, young. You know what I'm saying? Like, running away from foster care and stuff like that. Like that's not even normal. That's not. You're not. A child is not in that right state of mind at that age. 16 years old to be emancipated minor is still not. It's not an adult. That's just lack of parenting.
But
That's somebody not
I
taking
think,
responsibility for their child.
yeah, and I think the issue is too. I do think the issue is that we have to stop playing. That we're talking about 16, 15, 17, alongside of a 50, 40-year-old men.
Facts.
And that just doesn't, I don't know. Let's see what Do Business say. What up, Do Business?
And what's good, man? Give me a second. Give me a second.
I got you, big bro. Let me see who else we got. Yeah, anybody can hit the link real quick, you know, but don't come in here emotional. You know what I'm saying? Please don't come emotional, because this is a conversation where we're not going to get into the down and dirty nonsense. Just don't come in emotional. You know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want. You can make your argument. You can present what you got. Just don't come in here emotional.
I feel bad because it's a lot of people that actually want to, have a community, that want, our people to, thrive. We want to see our people do good. But, the only way that we're going to move forward is if we get rid of these bad things. These are bad taboos. It's not okay to kick your child out at the age of 18. That's not okay. That is not okay. They're not an adult at 18. They're just getting started, it's like, and that's a stigma that the white man put on our children, or put on us, you know what I'm saying? So that they can, make money off of us. Our kids in the street, looking for apartments so they could put money in their hand rather than building generational wealth. You know what I mean? It's sick.
Yeah. And I think anybody that tried to justify, and I hope nobody does that, but I'm not going to argue with you. I think that anybody that tries to justify a 40, 50-year-old man, 30, or even late 20s, I mean, even the disproportionate age range of a 15, 16-year-old next to a grown man, I think, come on now. Come on. I think even, and I'm of the thought, even back in the day, 1,000 years ago, I think it was sick then, and I think it's sick now. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at the story about what you read in a letter about Muhammad, right? Unfortunately, those, I don't give a lot of credit to those stories, because those are hadiths. You know what hadiths are? Hadith is somebody said this. Somebody said that. You know what I mean? All of that is somebody said this, somebody said that. And in the Moorish Science Temple of America, what I teach, we don't go off a hadith. We go off what the Quran says. You know what I'm saying? And I disagree with some of the cultural positioning even in the Quran, because some of those cultural positions in the Quran was meant for a certain group of people at a certain period of time. You know what I mean? That can't be superimposed in this day and time. But there are also some spiritual lessons in the Holy Quran and Mecca that supersedes and intermingles with all times and climes. It is what it is. But hey, people refuse to acknowledge the cultural part of the Quran, and they think it's all inclusive. I don't read the Quran like that. But the story about Prophet Muhammad is definitely hadith. They said, he said, she said, we said, etc., etc. So we got David in the building while I'm waiting on. Is you ready?
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to wait till everybody was finished. Peace to everybody on the panel. Peace to Uma York and West.
For sure, I'm gonna mute the mic. Okay, there you go. Do business.
Peace.
But yeah, well, you know my stand on it, Taharka. I'm always going to support Dr. York, no matter what.
That's
like
right.
I told you on the first time I was on, definitely made an impact for me. So I just can't turn my back on him. As far as the situation with him, having a lot of kids or whatever, I mean, the thing with Dr. York, because I mean, I studied the guy. I studied him a lot because I wanted to pay attention to him because he wrote so many books. It was impossible for me to read all of the books he wrote. So if I didn't know something, I just went to somebody that had the information for me, and they broke it down for me. And like Uma said, you go to class, and if you want to learn about something, you just go, talk to the people that can give you that information. And I think that Dr. York, by studying him, he was a very proud guy, and he had a very big ego. He was, he was receiving a lot of attention from people, so he's known all over the world. I mean, I've talked to people from London, from United Kingdom, all kinds of people. You know what I'm saying? Because the internet is a worldwide web. So from what I see from Dr. York, he was a very loving person. So I'm not going to say that he wasn't the type of person that look out for people, because I mean, he definitely did. He may be a victim of just loving people too much. And I'm not trying to make excuses for, whatever somebody said he did to them. Like I said, I wasn't there. But from what I see from him, he when he said that, a lot of people, have something to say about when Dr. York was talking about how he was, y'all knew he had so many names. Yanoon, he called himself the Green One, El Kadir. I can go on and on. He
Those
called
are
himself
different schools of life. He was taking people through different schools of life, and he was changing the name as he was going along.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying in the chat room. Like, depending on what school of thought he was teaching, that's where you was at. So a lot of people that came from the Ansar community wasn't ready to move on to the Nuwapian community, because he said it himself. A lot of people had to stay where they was at. You see what I'm saying? Because they weren't ready for the transition. So, basically, what I'm saying is, whatever you wanted, he put it in his books. He said he came to give you what you wanted, so you would learn to want what I have to give. So he was a very loving person, and he just gave people what they wanted. He basically wanted to take a lot of black people's minds away from worshiping white images. So he said, well, what's the best way to do that? I'll give you black images. If you're looking for a savior, well, if that's what you're looking for, if you want to worship me, then you do that. But he never told anybody to worship him. He always, told people, I'm not your Jesus. I'm not your Allah. I'm not none of that. You know what I'm saying? He straight up broke it down to you. But if that's what you want to do, he'll give it to you. So he was a very loving person. And I think that was, a lot of times he should have just, kept it real with people, and just, a lot of people just didn't leave him alone. Like I told you the first time I was on the show, I just like Uma said, he always was surrounded by people. And, living a lifestyle like that, that's very irritating. That's like a celebrity.
Yeah,
like you can't go outside without somebody, saying what, following you around. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just really sad because of, all of the work that he did in the community, and he ends up in prison. And then they talking about this guy named what's his name, douchebag York or something. That's crazy. And it's a lot of Nuwapians that were doing some things that they had no business doing. Making the organization look bad, and that's crazy because even in my city where I'm at, I seen a Nuwapian brother that was like 40, or he's got to be 50 something years old. He was older than me. He was a Shriner. We used to have class just like any city. We have classes and everything. And I seen him walk into the class one time with a very young girl, and she looked like she was about 18. But looking at him, I'm looking at him like, dude, why are you with this young, looking chick like that? You can't get somebody that's close to your own age. So a lot of Nuwapians were doing some weird stuff. I'm not gonna, dismiss that.
But and before so I won't be here all night. We can do a whole panel soon. And I hope y'all tuned in to get on this panel soon to have a discussion.
But I mean, I don't want to be too long winded. You know, I just always want to defend Dr. York because
Yeah,
I know I got to pass the mic. But
we got
Can
you.
you
all
hear
I'm
me?
saying is, now I'm almost finished. I'm almost finished. I
Okay.
promise.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is that from what I see from Dr. York, he was just a victim of loving people too much. He didn't know how to say no sometimes. Like, you know, a lot of times he probably should have took those times by himself and just, chill out. But he was doing so much work and trying to help so many people that it just became overwhelming. And it's just sad that he, ended up in prison and, people, saying this and that about him. And, I don't believe he did those things, but like I said, I wasn't there. So, I mean, I'm always going to, represent for, Dr. York and his family. I love them. That's what he taught us. The Wapians, we love each other. You know what I'm saying? And I love the Moorish community. I love people, especially
Hold
if
up.
they're
I'm
black people.
sorry. Bro, he's in jail for 135 years. There are children that are saying that he did certain things to them. He has a child by a 16-year-old, and you don't seem to think there's anything wrong with that?
Well, what I'm saying is that listen. I don't know anything about that. I can't speak for that. That's what I'm saying. That's not my problem. I'm just speaking up for him because of what he did for me.
And that should be
I don't
respected.
know. I don't know what
I
he did to
understand.
other
That
people.
should
The
be
But
knowledge,
respected.
I don't believe it
Yeah,
the knowledge
let
is
me speak.
there.
because I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, so I don't believe it.
Just remember, the knowledge is there. The books is there.
Say that again.
I said the books is there. The knowledge is out there. Is everywhere. The reality of it is he did his job. Our people are woke. Now the sad part about it is some of them are still asleep because they haven't gone past his books yet. They have to move forward. People
Right.
still idolizing and worshiping the man. It's the knowledge that he meant to give you. He gave you the knowledge, and the reality of it is y'all have to move on.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. What I'm saying is like what he did for me. He woke me up. You know what I'm saying? He put that spark inside of me. So I mean, like I said, I don't know what he did personally. But I can't believe it because I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. You see what I'm saying? You may be saying that, but I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I would have to just prove it to me that he did it. So just telling me that he did it is not enough. I need to know for sure.
So you're
that-
gonna tell me that the youngest kid in my family that's 20 years old right now, that's not enough proof?
No,
Y'all don't. The crazy part is most people that say they love him have not even studied his family. They treated his family like they were nothing.
that's
What
I
they
don't know
wanted to
about
do is
that.
they want to
It-
create this whole Jesus effect with him. Like, oh yeah, let's worship this man. You get what I'm saying? And then
because
exclude this whole family or ignore the fact that he has this whole family and
we're
everything is
not
right
we're
in
not
front of
doing
your
that.
face.
We're not doing that, sis.
I
Like I
mean,
just said,
people been
I
in
love y'all.
I'm just
I
saying
love y'all.
people been harassing me for years, but then they don't really want to really dissect the family. For as long as you got something to say that's dealing with them being more enlightened, they don't want nothing to do with that. They just want to continue to worship the man. And he's written enough books. Just like you said, he made so much books. I haven't even gotten through most of those books. Bruh, like I mean, the knowledge is out there. There's people out here that's making books off of those knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Off the books
Right,
itself.
right.
So, and I'm not even, and I'm just, you gotta, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, not for nothing. Somebody was to do something to my kid, 14, I mean 16, anything of that age, man, I would be wanting to
I
body
I
them,
got you. I
period.
got you because I have a
It wouldn't
daughter. My
even
daughter's
be a
14 now.
conversation. Exactly. So imagine somebody, it's like y'all really gotta open up your eyes. You know what I'm saying? The books is there. It's like it's not gonna run away. The books ain't gonna go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is y'all gotta stop idolizing and worshiping him. I get that he opened your eyes, and I understand that he opened you to a whole nother thing. Right now you need to look at this like your spell is being broken, because you know what he did. He put a spell on y'all just to break another spell, and a lot of y'all still stuck under that spell that he put on y'all. That spell ain't broken. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all still stuck under that spell, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, yeah, one day y'all gotta wake up and say, yeah, that spell is broken now, and move on. Take the knowledge and do something else with it. Help the community however way you can. Protect children. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can do to help our community to grow on a more positive light. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best way to, you know, like, let's be for real. All the kids he has, you got to think about it. Only one kid decided to step up and say, "Hey, I want to be another Dr. York," and he didn't abuse children too. And you don't seem to think there's something wrong with that? Come on.
I have no proof of that. I have no
Uh,
proof. This is all hearsay. That's what I'm saying. Just show me the proof. That's all we say. Show us the proof. That's all you have to do. It's just hearsay.
You can look up
We
Ramesses
don't
arrest.
know.
You can look up Ramesses arrest record. I mean, let's be for real.
My Prince York. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Prince York is you. Yeah, he's a touched individual. Something. He's kind of bugged out. So I mean, I don't know about Prince York. I don't know him, but all I'm saying is that I'm not going to turn my back on someone that helped me. And if
I,
somebody said something about it, I'm not going to believe you just because you say it.
I
I'm not
understand
going to
that,
do
but
that.
he's already in jail. You still
I
have to
understand
move
that,
on.
but just because somebody's in jail doesn't mean that they're there on that doesn't mean that somebody didn't set them up.
That's
Just
not
because
the point.
somebody's in jail, that doesn't mean that they committed the crime.
I get all of that, but the reality of it, once again, he has a child by a girl that was 16 years old. Whether people want to say 16, 17, that still does not, like, are you serious? Y'all have to wake up. If
If
it
you
was your child, how would you
Are you
feel
talking
about it
about
if it was
Habiba?
your
Are
daughter?
you talking about Habiba Washington?
No, I'm not talking about Habiba Washington. I'm talking about somebody completely different.
Okay, so who you talking about? That's what I'm saying. You got if you're gonna say
let's get
something
into,
about it, you got to break
hey,
it down. That's what I'm saying.
let's get into that.
I still can't believe you. I just can't. But we
I
love you.
understand.
We love
I
you.
get it. I get it. That's
Let's
and
get
that's
into
that
that.
that's that cult like mentality. Y'all ain't gonna
Well, hold up,
believe
hold up.
nothing.
Let's get
I
into that
get it.
on another page because we got enough to talk about that we can go on and on. I appreciate do business and you and
No
Uma,
doubt. No doubt.
that's sis. That's the home team. She hit hardcore. But do business. I think that you present a strong a strong argument as it relates to loyalty. But as we get closer to building up this panel, I think we'll get more clarity on both sides. I think we might get a little bit tonight if I can get a few of these callers in. But do business, man. Please,
Absolutely.
we're not letting this conversation go for the
Yeah,
next.
I'll mute up. I'll mute up.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't, and that's another thing. I don't hate my father at all. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta look at what people are saying. You're not gonna tell me that all these kids are lying. So we gotta discredit all these kids. That's just it would be wrong. That's victim blaming. That's what people been doing to me for years. You get what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, but
Absolutely, absolutely. I've said that I've been trying to tell people the whole time that that you have not endorsed, supported, or said anything for or against. Today is the most that you ever said. I don't know why they thought, but that's another story. Let me get Capera in. Capera, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me?
Yes, yes,
yes.
family.
Okay,
And
great.
can you be respectful to the other ones, other
Oh
people?
no, always, always.
No,
I'm
I'm saying on
consider
time wise because we're gonna have a
right, right.
few
No,
other.
I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep it short. That's very honorable. Peace and blessing to everybody that's here. Uma, I have your Instagram. I do enjoy some of the stuff that content you put out and great work that you're doing in Haiti. That's wonderful. As speaking at from an elder's point of view, I came in 1979. I was an NYU student, and Dr. York asked me himself to come on in. He asked me himself, he said, don't worry about application, anything, come on in. I want you to be here by my side. And I spent 5 years by this man's side. 5 years I spent at the fruit stand. Everybody knows me as Abdul Sabor. 5 years in 1979. So I seen Yadalahi grow up. I seen Jakub grow up. Fatima, his twin sister. Fatima, Yadalahi's twin sister. Bubakara. I seen a lot of them grow up. I don't remember you, Uma, because a lot of them Illuminatis, I don't know what year you were born, whatever. But what I wanted to say is that I feel that in a way we did drop the ball. As speaking from an Ansar perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because we was under the guise of Islam, and we were teaching the young ones about the dunya. That these people are demons out there, and these people this and that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
there was a disconnection between the world. And I remember Kedar, when Wakia dropped him off, Kedar,
You're
and he
talking
was
about my
going,
cousin Kedar
your cousin
Massenberg?
Kedar Messenberg, that's right, Wakia's son. I remember when he first was dropped off at the Jamiat, and he went, as a matter of fact, he was going to high school. And I was supposed to go with him to the school that because he had a motorbike, so he used to like to drive his motorbike out there. I mean, the Mumanoons, the young ones were taken care of. They had the best of everything back then. I can tell you that. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, the problem with Kedar, being brought up and have to go to school. He hated that he had to wear that uniform that we had for them. So they gave him a different type of clothing to wear than the younger ones. So he was going to high school, and there was a conflict. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that's where we dropped the ball in a way. That a lot of the young ones grew up like that. So when started to go out into the world, you got exposed to a lot of things in the world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of experiences. That's just my assessment of what's going on, because now I'm going to be 60 years old, and like I said, I've been in this for a very, very long time. You know what I'm saying? To this day, I always say this. I'm not a follower of Dr. York. He didn't want followers. But I recognize his greatness, I recognize charisma, and I recognize his idea, his vision, because he had a vision to create the Hall of
Definitely.
Knowledge, a institute, the Hall of Knowledge. Because I tell you, I was an NYU student, so he brought me over, and we wanted to build a university setting, because we had the music department, we had a language department, we had different departments, and we built that Hall of Knowledge. That was a whole block on Hart Street, right from where Fatima had a restaurant all the way down, and we gutted out those basements, and we actually built the Hall of Knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So there was some great works that was done back then, but I feel
Definitely.
when it came to the children, you were a little spoiled, and that whole idea with the dunya, a lot of a lot of, and I'm speaking, I say y'all, I don't know about you too much, but a lot of the children, especially Jakub, was a problem. He was teased all the time. I used to try to defend Jacob York. They used to tease him. Yeah, all the other ones used to tease
I
him
mean,
all the time when he was 7 years old. They used to
it's
make
funny
fun of his
that you
big
say
head.
that.
His big head. They used to call him
Yeah,
Big Head.
it's
Yeah.
funny that you say that, because he came up here like, oh, I was the favorite son. Actually,
Nah,
Yedulahi was the favorite son,
that's
and
right.
Yedulahi was actually being he was the one being placed in position to take over the
An
nation.
ambassador. He was going to be an
And
ambassador to the UN. Yeah.
he was supposed to take over the nation. I remember
True.
when he came on the land, he was
Right.
supposed to be going. He was supposed to go to give some money to his baby mother who just had twins. And during the time that he went out there, he got assassinated. He got shot straight in the heart on Valentine's Day. So
Yeah.
this some
Yeah.
and even with that situation, I question a lot of things with my family. Like, do a lot of people in my family know about it? Or, what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
weird. Like,
They
if
do
there's
know
other
about it.
people that I've spoken to that said that, they feel like he was set up by
It
his
was
own
set up. Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah.
By his
It
own
looks like it.
siblings, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as what when 5 years I was close to this man. He used to come out of the debate and used to come to the fruit stand. I was at the fruit stand, right? And I sat with him every day. We spoke about a lot of things. I never once saw any abuse and anything. Never even had that fear. Now, maybe because I'm different, I'm not looking for that. That's not in my system. That's what I'm saying. Many will come through. He's a very complicated man. You know what I'm saying? Many people saw different things in this man. and
Yeah,
experiences, and you have to honor. I mean, that's what they experience. That's what they experience. I can't
I
speak
get it.
about that, but I could tell you something. I got grandchildren. I got children and grandchildren. I'm going to be conscious of my surrounding and with my kids and any children in my neighborhood. I'm gonna be conscious and make sure that nothing like that happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm much more aware than I was when I was young. But I never saw anything. This man treated them children like gold. I mean, they had the best of everything. I remember when we put down the floor, the cement, and they started to roller skate underneath the tent. You know what I'm saying? So it was a beautiful, and one end it was like a dichotomy. It was a great experience, but that's nation building. If you look at the way the United States of America was built, you know, you got one end, you got nation building, and you got things that are flourishing, beneficial. But then at the other end, you got things that do kind of like seep in there that bad experiences. So
Yeah,
you can't just blame that one man. That's a big
yeah.
responsibility for one man to
That's a
have.
fact.
You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact. I mean, like I said, he was trying to get away from. He was trying. I know that for a fact that I've
Yeah.
seen him when Yedulahi passed, and I had to
Yeah.
tell him that. I watched him destroy his
Oh no.
entire office in pain. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no.
And all he kept saying in tears is, "I'm trying to get the hell away from these people." That's all he
Yes.
kept trying to say. Is, "I've been trying to get the
That's a
hell,"
fact.
and that was his way out. And
You
he
know,
just
you know, you know. It's funny you say that because I was sitting down one time with him, and the adhan for prayer was called, and I was on my way to go to prayer, and I tell him I'm gonna go to pray. I'm gonna go to make salat. And you know what he told me? Oh, I don't go in there. I don't know who. I don't pray. I don't know what these people are praying to. I don't go in there. And I said, what? It opened my, I was like, what? And he was saying, oh, they desecrated that mosque. Yeah, I don't go in there. I don't know how these people pray. That's the way but he was a caring man also because, he brought us under the tent and we had discussion. And I did see the frustration. I did see the frustration a lot in him. I'm telling you, I spent some time with him and he was schooling me on a lot of things. And I did see a lot of frustration. He did not, it was strange, what I'm saying, for a man to say, you built this, and then you don't even want to go in there because you don't even want to be around
I
some of these
mean,
people.
that goes
Kidar was the
without
same way
saying.
too.
He also left that he left the land for the nation. The people got greedy and sold it themselves and said that the
Yes.
feds took it.
No,
So that,
right.
once
You right.
again,
You right on that.
he
Yes.
did everything he could do to help our people,
Yeah.
including left them literally 475
Yes.
acres and then
Yeah.
625 across the lake that he purchased right before that,
Right. Right.
including Nuapu Gardens. And he gave these
Plus
people so
upstate.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Upstate.
and these people, there was so much greedy people that just wanted money or just wanted,
Yeah. That's a
tangible
fact.
things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they were
Yeah.
willing to destroy an entire nation for what they wanted. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it
And
is,
that's exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta. In a
and
way.
that's excluding him being out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was still there. It was still built for our people. You know what I'm saying? Minus him being there, he wanted no ends on it. He wanted to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there were other people, just always there, ready to destroy and destruct. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and
So
that's a fact. I mean,
that's the reality of what we got.
when I found out, I was in there, and when I found out there was some brothers, the police commissioner came down and sat at the fruit stand, and now I'm seeing this man, this Caucasian man, sitting down the fruit stand with a pistol.
Ooh.
Yeah, phone thing with that.
Is it my phone? I don't know. I don't hear anything. Nah, my phone ain't dead. I don't know what's going on.
Tahaka, you're on mute.
It's not you, sis.
Oh,
It's not you. Somebody else just went crazy. But with that being said, I think that was David because y'all was reminiscing. Y'all was on CLC, reminisce for a spell, or should I say think back? He was reminiscing. But I appreciate you, Mr. David. Something happened with your mic. That was the universe. Gotta go. Let's get compared.
yeah.
Compare, are you there? He might have fell asleep because David was getting it in. Good goodness. He was going all the way back about that stand.
Way back.
Doc was building.
Way back into time.
So Kapira went out.
I see that might be doing something.
Kapira, you might have to go out. That's his mic acting crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. David.
Yes, sir.
Brother, you dropped off. What happened? Everything okay?
You kicked me out, man.
I kicked you out after you wasn't saying nothing.
Nah, I was letting those two talk. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt.
Oh, I kicked you out?
Wasn't you talking?
Somebody?
Nah, that was the other dude.
That was
Kapira?
Kapira?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, so his mic went crazy. My bad, David. I thought it was you. I'm listening, man. I'm like, because I'm telling you, Kapira was long-winded. My fault, David. I forgot it was time. I'm like, good goodness, he talking this fruit stand.
He said it was going to be real fast. He was like,
I just didn't want to interrupt.
No, you good, brother. So the floor is yours. I'll bring Kapira back in so he can at least he can't say nothing. But go ahead, David. The floor is yours. And then I bring
I appreciate that. Now I want to preface my comments by saying that I am not supporting Dr. York in regards to the crimes that they said that he committed. But I do just want to say that although he may be a pedophile based off of the customs and the laws of our land, those customs are not usually universal. So in regards to pedophilia or child molestation, or when we talk about what is considered to be too young, we have to be careful and put things into its proper perspective, because earlier you mentioned the so-called Prophet of Islam, right, where they have some traditions where they say that he met his wife Aisha, he married her at the age of 6 and consummated the marriage at the age of 9. Some other traditions say the ages was different, but based off of his culture, the Eastern culture, that was normal, because they had archaic laws, and they lived in patriarchal societies, which oftentimes was a detriment to the women and the children, because they were considered second-class citizens.
Right.
But even in England, for instance, in the 1200s, the age of consent for marriage was 12 years old.
Right.
And that wasn't updated until to the age of 16 up until the 1800s. And even in the United States in the 1800s, the age of consent for marriage was 10 and 12 years old. So now, would we consider these societies, the Eastern cultures and even the Western cultures at those time periods, to be pedophiles?
Yes. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Seriously, let me tell you why.
Because before you make that remark, now I'm not saying I agree with it, but they usually base the standard. They don't use age; they use it by prepubescent.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you why. This is the wisdom of what I stand for, and everybody don't have to stand for it. I follow the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And when I say I follow the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I am of thought that Prophet Noble Drew Ali mind has unfolded and evolved to such a state where as though it's an example of where our mind could evolve to and unfold to. And in this Quran, which is a compilation of ancient writings of our ancestors, in this Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we find it to be the unfolded lessons of the Holy Quran of Mecca. And the unfolded lessons mean that we don't step back in time, we unfold towards where we're at now in this time. And so it's a lesson in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Almost for Calico to come on. It's a lesson in the Moorish Science Temple of America that says all knowledge tends upwards towards perfection. So if we stay back how people did yesterday, then we stay stuck in the Stone Age. If they did that yesterday and they made it right, that don't mean we have to make it right today.
I agree.
The way that they practiced religion yesterday, Muhammad 1600 years ago, don't mean that we have to practice it like that today. There's a lot of there's variations or variables, if you will. There's customs, that people do in their everyday life that they bring into a religion, and then there's a principle thing that supersedes the customs that are brought into religion. And
I agree with you 100%, but that's even happening now to this day.
But hold up. Let me say it. Let me just finish real quick.
Okay.
Our ancestors done many things back in the day that we should never practice today. True. And they did it in the name of religion. The problem I have about the story about whether it's indigenous Africa, whether it's Arabia with Islam in the East, regardless of what they practiced back in the day. One thing for sure and two things for certain. It was always the men that would dominate the women and children, as you admitted yourself.
Yep, the patriarchal societies.
Therefore, on that thought alone, we should be moving away from that and moving towards an equal playing field for man, woman, and child. If on that thought alone,
I totally agree.
That type of mentality precipitates the behavior that we see today. And we don't want to get away from it, and we'll use the practices and the customary practices of our ancestors to justify the most vile things. And we need to stop doing that because we advance. It's like, are we going to still ride a horse and buggy because our ancestors did it, or are we going to take advantage of this airplane? And in the spiritual system, we must do the same thing. In a cultural system, we must do the same thing. Our ancestors was not always right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But we need to get away from it.
There's a point I want to make.
Absolutely.
Based off of what you said, and I totally agree. I think that it's wrong to have any kind of dealings with an underage child. But you have to understand that these are cultures that govern the systems of these societies. Take, for instance, those customs are still even practiced today, where you have grown men who are being involved with children.
You can't use.
No, I'm not justifying. I'm not justifying it. But what I'm saying is that I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that this is the reality that is happening. Like, take for instance, in the Philippines. In the Philippines,
bogged down with different cultures. What I'm telling you is that any intelligent person would look at a culture, and no matter how many people demonstrated, would say that's not the way to go. We need to get away from that.
But then, what would make? Okay, let me give you an example, and then I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna make another point, a second point, and then I'm done. Like in the Philippines, for instance, you have a lot of child pregnancies there, unfortunately, but based off of their socioeconomic status, it's a poor country. So it's basically like the family, unfortunately, are not able to feed the people in their household. So if a child gets pregnant, they send her off with the child.
What does that have to do with us elevating and expanding ourselves to the next edified level?
Don't get me wrong. I'm agreeing with you 100%. I'm agreeing with you 100%. But what I'm saying is that
let me get a breakthrough, David. What I'm saying is they could be having sex with sheep. Telling me that story means nothing to me because I'm moving on a more elevated level.
We all are. Many people are. But what I'm saying is that these practices are still being applied.
Only thing I'm saying is, brother, you telling me that story about different cultural practices and cultural norms does nothing to me and nothing for me because I am moving on a more elevated, advanced level.
But this is why it's prevalent, and I'm agreeing with you. Don't think that I'm here to. That's why I said I wanted to preface my comments by saying I'm not in support of Dr. York or anyone who has relations with an underage child or a minor. What I'm saying though is that if we consider pedophilia by our norms, many of us would not exist.
I get what you're saying. What I'm telling you. Now,
can I say something?
Let me get a breakthrough again, David. What I'm telling you, regardless of what yesterday was, what is tomorrow going to be?
That's what I'm saying. I'm
So
agreeing with that
your
fact.
argument is a straw man argument with all due
No, it's not a straw man.
respect. What I'm saying is, are you
You're
saying that?
you're building the straw man. I'm
Let me ask
agreeing with you. It can't be a straw man when
you,
I'm agreeing with you.
let me say this, David.
I'm
Are
just
you
saying that
saying that?
your point would be a fallacy if you were to ignore the fact
No,
that these
I don't live in that world, so that doesn't.
you don't, but that does not necessarily mean that there's 7 billion people in the world. You get what I'm saying? Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm agreeing with you, GS.
Right.
I'm agreeing with you. Don't
So
think that I'm building a straw man. But
can
go
I
ahead.
say
I'll let you
something?
sit to speak. Yeah.
Can I say something? Okay, so I know that, when I listen to Disney movies now, because I have a daughter, I listen to Disney movies, and these girls are like 16 years old, getting married off and stuff like that, talking about getting married. And Disney does groom children. I have to mention that. They definitely are grooming children. I believe that they also changed the laws as well. Back then, I believe, girls were getting married at the ages of like 16, 17, that was the norm back then. But they changed the laws, I think somewhere in the 2000s or something like that, they changed the laws. So we have to, and I get it. We're all a part of a society, but we got to start looking outside that box of what these people created, the Western society and what they created. We
True.
have
I
to
agree.
step outside of that box because they're the sickos, and we're bringing that sickness into our community.
And
I agree.
what
Because
I'm saying is, David, I yield the floor to you. It's always the men dominating the women and children, bro. So I
right.
don't know what society you try to point out that makes it a cultural norm. It's wrong. And we need to accept the fact that it's wrong and build on the fact that women are just as equal as men, and children need to be protected at all costs.
I agree with you 100%. There's no justification for, like I said, adults having relations with minors, but it doesn't ignore the fact of what is going on. And it's basically something that I just wanted to highlight. I don't agree with it.
Not our issue. We're not in the Philippines. Our issue is what we're dealing with as a cultural norm here in the United States. Well, are we going to accept the fact that they have sex with 13-year-olds
No,
in the
because
Philippines and then say that's reason to try to
no. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm basically trying to say is that the moral compass, there's a moral compass that we have. And like I said, I'm agreeing with you. There's no justification for having relations with minors. I even recently I found out that my grandfather on my father's side was an adult. I forgot what age he was. When he married my grandmother, she was 16 years old. And I thought like, whoa, that was crazy to hear something like that. But then again, if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't be here.
Well, you wouldn't be here, but let me tell you, that doesn't justify.
No, it doesn't. I
else.
told you it doesn't. It doesn't justify it. Based off of the laws of the land, like I mentioned, they have patriarchal societies, which is a detriment to the women and our children.
Absolutely.
You understand? They treat them as second-class citizens. And the thing about it is that we have to allow our children to develop. We have to allow our children to grow. There's no way a grown man should look upon minors to consider. Yeah,
1,500 years ago. It's not acceptable.
Right, but I'm saying though, it's unacceptable to us because we're looking at it and through our lens, but to them, you understand?
At this point, we can't worry about them. If only time we look at when we look back, we should look back and critique the things
as a point of reference. Yeah.
That shouldn't have taken place, and the things that we can use and elevate us to the next level. We should never look back and say, "Well, our ancestors did it." That's why.
No, the only reason why
1,000 millions of wives or something like that. Now I'm gonna sit here and try to compete with Solomon. Man, get out! No.
Right. The only reason why is because you have people who say that people who agree is totally wrong.
Well, we need to get the people that agree come on here so we can wake them up.
Hey, I'm on. Listen, I'm on your side. You know what I mean? It's just that it's disgusting behavior. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain level of maturity. There's a certain level of development that a young woman, regardless of her age, whether it's in between the ages of 10 to 17, there's still a lot of development that is there. And when you have grown adults who take advantage of young minors or seek to have relations with these young minors, it's disgusting and it's abhorrent to us because we look at it like, man, you know, those people were tripping. But just because we see it like that, that does not necessarily mean that it didn't happen. And not only did it didn't happen, how prevalent it was, not only just back then with our ancestors, but just a century ago. And even now to this day. But it doesn't make it right. Hands down, it doesn't make it right.
Indeed, indeed. Let me get somebody else here. I want to ask.
I appreciate it.
All right, peace. So somebody said Prophet Noble Drew Ali was accused of the same thing. You know, I did the research on that front and back, center to center, and I'm going to do the presentation on here. I've done it in the temple before because I refuse to follow anybody teachings that was accused of something like that. And in the research that I've done, I pulled all the files, I pulled all the police report. It was actually a setup to get Prophet Noble Drew Ali out the way. He was never charged with anything. They put the young girl up. They falsified the documents. I got all the falsified documents. I got everything, and you'll be able to compare the reports, the documents, and everything. So no, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It was a setup by a guy named. In fact, his name is on back of what's the brother name? Anybody know the brother name? Anybody know the brother name? Start with an F. Foreman Bay. It was a Foreman Bay put his daughter up to put his 13-year-old daughter to give a statement to the police while the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was in the tour of the temples. And when he came back into Chicago, they was expecting to lock him up for molestation. However, when they interviewed. It was a murder that happened. It was a murder that happened with Clark Green, the business manager of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they locked Prophet Noble Drew Ali up for that. When they ultimately interviewed the 13-year-old, as well as a mother and another sister that lived in the same flat, Christina, when they interviewed them, first, she told a story out there on the block, and then when she sit down, she recanted the story within 24 hours and said she was put up to it, and that was that. He's never got anybody pregnant, none of that. All of that stuff was a setup, and nothing came of it. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to move him out the way. The Moorish Science Temple of America was $1 million empire back in 1920. 26, 27, 28. They was trying to move him out the way. You know what I'm saying? He never was charged with anything. He never, you know what I mean? They set him up. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm here to clear the name because I got the goods. Everything was written down. Everything was written down. Everything was written down. There was no charges. There was no courts. There was no nothing. Everything was written down. I got all the goods. That's right. I got all the goods. And that's the difference. You know, if we're able to bring the goods, and this is how, I'll tell you this is how my research on matters such as this and a lot of other issues, because I wanted to make sure that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was who he said he was. When he tell us in our laws that husband, you must take care of your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children, look after the duties of the household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if he's speaking to children as children and then he would do something like that to a child, that didn't go right with me. And so I researched it all the way in and all the way out. You know what I'm saying? And I can show and prove. That's right. It said, Mo, better show and prove otherwise. That's right. And I can show and prove. And in fact, Carew Ware, Noble married a damn child. My G, that's gross. I invite you on here to debate me on it, and then you donate $5,000 to the charity of my choice. You know what I'm saying? Which would be the I would debate you on Moorish World TV. Matter of fact, you might don't have 5 racks. Let's do 500 and let the people decide. And we don't even got to do it here. We can do it on any platform.
I think we need to do some research on that, because a lot of people back in the day were getting married at that young age. Even though nowadays
that wasn't the case at all.
No, I'm not saying in regards to his case. I'm saying in general, that was a thing back in the day, that a lot of them were getting
I agree. But as we see, it's all unacceptable.
Right. And that's once again, that was the Western society, you know, putting a certain stigma on us that we just followed, which wasn't good.
Yeah, and it's all unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? It's all unacceptable. Let me get so I can get up out of here. Oh my goodness, it's 1:00. Newbold, Miss Newbold, are you there, sis?
Yes, peace and blessings to everybody. What it do? Uma York, what peace is
Peace, peace.
Maji?
How you doing?
I'm okay. You remember me from Bigo, Maji?
Yeah, I actually do remember your voice.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to come up here and show you some maximum utmost respect because it takes a brave goddess to come up to this platform and stand up for the women, for the children, and also to enlighten men in their state of confusion, of perversion. I just want to say that I'm 52 years old and I've been in New York, you know, all my life. I've worked with Saneter. I've worked with um King Simon and Brother Rich, and we used to do live streaming because that's what I used to do. And in the midst of all that, um I was noticing a lot of contradiction. And what I'm trying to understand is this. Uh Much respect to Dr. York because he put a lot of information out. And I just want to say that back in the days, there was a lot of agents. And these agents came in forms of Bloods and Crips. And these agents came and infiltrated the Black Panthers. And I believe that it was these agents with their perversion came in and started doing their thing, their narratives, their behaviors. And I don't, and you know, like the co-pro and tell program, it still exists to this day, but nobody talks about it.
MK Ultra.
And I believe that, you know, I'm the one that when Leah and Jacob was with Saneter, I'm the one that called in and said, who gave Polite the gun? Was it Jacob or Leah? Because those are the two main people that wanted you out of the building. And it don't take a rocket science to know that. And she admitted it. She admitted that she lied. So what makes us believe anything else she says?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. And honestly, I think that she definitely wants that building because, you know, I don't know what it is about that building. These people want it so bad, like they can have that building. I feel like that building is cursed.
Right.
Like the building's cursed. You know, these people, all these brothers and sisters are fighting over something. It's like, you know, they like that's like I've been saying for years. Everybody wants to be a king or queen. They over here walking around with these imaginary thrones. You get what I'm saying? They have absolutely nothing. Most of them have nothing at all. If most of them don't even have their sanity at this point, because it looks ridiculous for them to come back and forth on a site and literally just two people that don't hardly talk to each other team up against me just to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to what I'm trying to speak about, which is you know, exposing the people harboring child molesters in the organization. You know, so to me I felt like they had some kind of in on it, or maybe they like I said, the family got something to hide. You know what I'm saying? So that's the scary part about it. You know?
Hey, Uma, I was about to say, remember when Leah said, yeah, they told me that I had to say and lie on Jacob so that it could go inside with the matchup. And basically, who told you to lie? Because the one that told you to lie, I believe, is an agent. You know what I'm saying? It's real simple like that. Because, oh, I can't tell you. I can't. And you talk to King Simon and you ask him, well, who was the reverend that introduced Polite to you? Oh, I can't talk about it. I can talk about it.
Yeah, the
I'm
person that
from New
they
York.
speak about, I think, is for some strange reason he spoke it when he said that. I think he's talking about my uncle Obar because he was the one that hid Polite. And it was funny because you know, it seemed like my family once again got a thing for hiding people that do mischief, you know. So my uncle was the one that hid him. So I think the person that he speak about when he's speaking about person is he's speaking about my uncle. Now in regards to you know, Jacob, I don't know. I don't know why he would throw himself under the bus, because the thing had nothing to do with him. I was speaking about a story, but clearly the universe make things all happen for a reason. So, you know, when you're guilty, of course, you know what they say, when you throw a stone at a pack of wolves, the one who howl, you know, the one who got something to do with something, you know. And Leah, I mean, she's the type of person, she'll do anything for money. You know what I'm saying? By any means necessary. She's that type of person. I mean, look at the you know, when somebody told me her favorite movie was some Showgirls, like what kind of movie is that to be your favorite movie? Like what kind of like mindset could you possibly have? That's a movie where the girls are like fighting against one another. Like what kind of mindset is that? You know? Like that's sick. My favorite movie, honestly, anybody would know, is Django. It's hilarious.
And my favorite movie is Avatar.
Avatar. I don't know. I like Django when he's like beating up on the slaves. I
For
mean, when
real.
he's beating up on a white guy, like, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. Left field, y'all.
But you know what? It's you know, to have, you know, like Leah has the audacity and the nerve to be prideful, to say, yeah, I lied on my brother, but I didn't have nothing I, um I didn't have nothing in it. I didn't have no ill intentions of him. Like how, you know, like the, you know, like you're lying and you're proud of it.
Yeah, that's something.
And she don't get it. She don't see that they just, that's like, you don't even see that, you know.
That's her pride. That's her pride. She
Wow.
just hate. You know, when someone hates you so much, they don't even listen to themselves when they're saying stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is being recorded, honey. Hello.
But I just want to go on record to say that I am your sister. You know what I'm saying? And
Definitely.
you know what you do. I've been doing, which is standing up for the community. I've been an activist. You know, I've been a journalist. You know, all my life. So you know, I just want to let you know that you are a sister within me, and I got your back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of what you're doing, because you're standing up for humanity, and I applaud you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I
And
mean,
I
you
gotta say
too.
shout out to Tahaka. That Tahaka, shout out, you the more that I'm gonna remember. Thank you.
Thank you, sis.
Have a beautiful night.
You too,
Definitely.
sis. You
Peace,
too, sis.
peace, sis.
Peace.
Peace, sis.
So I know at this point that your husband probably then laid it on down for the night because he got to
Oh
get
yeah,
up.
yeah. And mind you, I gotta go too because I got school in the morning.
Yes. So thank you so much, sis. I gotta go because I gotta get up in the morning. But thank you again. And next time around, we build on another level. As I said in the lesson today, all knowledge and all things should tend upward towards perfection. So in other words, we shouldn't be stuck in yesterday. We should be building from yesterday so it doesn't happen again, or that we can create a better today from what we learned from yesterday. Period.
Facts.
Shouldn't be stuck in yesterday, or we be sitting around riding a horse and buggy. I'm gonna try to get a flight next time I go somewhere. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm telling you, boy.
I
Oh man.
appreciate you, sis.
Peace, brother. Peace.
So, family, there we go. Woo! And these are some heavy conversations. You know what I'm saying? But I think they're good. This is the first time, like I said, most of these conversations about the Nuwaubian conversation was a conversation amongst Nuwaubians. And every once in a while, you see people outside will put their twist on it. The Nuwaubians this, and Dr. York did this, and all the Nuwaubians this. But here we go. We have actual people who was not only a part of this organization, but also blood relation part of this organization. And it doesn't get no better than this, where we can talk to the blood relatives of Dr. York, who tonight she just dropped a bomb on you if you was paying attention. And then we talk to people who was affected by Dr. York in a positive light that refuse to see him in any other light besides the light what they experienced. And they got a right to that too. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop being emotionally immature. If you feel as though that Dr. York committed these crimes, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Somebody said Uma switched up serious. Brother Elite Media, Uma didn't switch up. She never said yay or nay the whole time. People assumed Uma position, Elite Media. People assumed her position. She never gave her permission. All the time she been on the show, Media, she never gave her permission. Tonight she gave her position. And Elite Media, what you got a podcast? I would love for you to email me and I'll show you my style of interview if I can share with you my pre-interviews, what I know behind the scenes. She just never gave her position. I've always known her position since I talk. You know what I'm saying? I've known her position. You know what I'm saying? It's like just like my position. Just like my position. My position is let both sides talk. Let both sides talk. You know what I'm saying? Let the people that want to defend York, let them talk. Let the people that feel as though he's guilty, let them talk. You see what I'm saying? And then you can make a better decision. You can't make a decision with one side emotionally talking all the time. And then the other side on the defense all the time. Let both sides talk. Relax. If you live your life right, we'll be here another day. And we'll get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. You see what I'm saying? Omar Muhammad said, he confessed, wow, I can't believe you. Omar Muhammad, are you insane? We know he was found guilty. We know he pled guilty. We know these things. However, this is called a podcast conversation, and we're saying let both sides talk. You can always turn to another podcast, Omar. You don't have to see this. You don't have to hear the intricate details of people's experiences. Someone just said he didn't confess. Someone say he's falsely accused. This is the reason why we should hear with patience both sides and have a conversation like a mature group of people that can listen to both sides. We are so emotionally infants. He plead guilty for God's sake. I'm going to kill you, Tahaga. Calm down. Calm down. Somebody, Stoic say, I think the man is guilty of those crimes against children. He has a right to do that. Someone say he did not plead guilty. This is why this is a conversation. Ron West say we need a panel. I agree with Ron West. When this channel is going to be an emotionally mature channel where even if it bothers you, you can still hold your position and respectfully represent it. We are just too emotional as a people, man. And this is how let me tell you something. This is how the oppressor gets you. This is how oppressor gets you. The oppressor gets you because he know how to work on your emotional heartstrings on every issue. He gets you feeling guilty about Christmas, and so you go buy all these gifts and can't pay your bills. That's emotional. He gets you feeling that your children should be able to participate in Halloween. Now you're giving your children candy and begging and teaching them how to bang on the doors and beg for candy and wear crazy outfits and representing demons and foolishness. He gets you getting guilty because you're emotional. It's all connected. It's all connected to your emotions. And I'm going to tell you, even in having a conversation, when you get emotionally charged in a conversation, I'm telling you, that means you can be controlled. You can be controlled. One thing about me, and I hope you learn this, there's a difference between passionate, and emotional. Like I get real passionate about something. I may even cross the line to emotion. You know what I'm saying? But once someone can tap into your emotions, it's done. It's done. And when you show that you're emotional, you can be controlled. You can be controlled. So when we have these heated or strong, fiery conversation, present your argument. Let the other people present their argument. And then, hey, let's see what we come up with. You follow me? Let's see what we come up with. I'm telling you, it's better to hear both sides as opposed to trying to control the conversation and you only hearing one side. Now, it's better to hear both sides, and that's just what it is. I think so. But hey, who am I? I'm just a huckleberry. Let me see. I was going to play my man song because I think it fits right now. I'm gonna play my main man song, man. Let me play. I ain't played it in a while. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what I got. Hey, where is that? Let me play it. I ain't played it in a while.
Face disgrace beyond limits. Private Ryan, save face till your partner stop killing. We need the power of the Christ, so tonight we'll start healing. Then we'll work on the poison all the hustlers dealing. When I tell you, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Let's go! Nobody knows.
Nobody doing it like Force World TV. Nobody doing it like Force World TV. And you know it. And you know it. Thumbs up. Thank you, family.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave.
Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law